So we've got audio, and we may begin. Very well. Shabbat Shalom, my most esteemed friends, honorable judges, LVE tribe, as well as everyone else accompanying us. On this rather precious, cloudy day of Shabbat from California, the US of A, today being the 28th of Aviv, it's on its way out, of the year 5995, belonging to May 16th of the year 2026, we'll study yet another chapter of Wisdom and Discipline, part 67. In the countdown of the Omer, it is week number 2, day 14. The Omer countdown is the one that takes us to the Shavuot feast. We'd like to welcome once again to those who were missing, which is Brenda, Ale, Gabi. Well, Gabi came the other day. We just needed them two to complete. They were visiting Honduras, and they are welcome back. We're going to celebrate their birthday, even though I mentioned it already. We're going to celebrate Brenda's birthday because she wasn't here, so then be very much welcomed. Very well. I'd like to begin by mentioning those who have had a birthday during this week, which are as follows: Rubicel Sanchez, Chile; Glenda Aurora Moreno, Mexico; Jonathan Enrique Calvachi Gonzalez, Colombia; Luis Rosendo Gutierrez Tzoc, Guatemala; Ángel Sebastián Isaac Carrillo, Colombia; Amy Urbaez, the Dominican Republic; Migdalia Diaz, Guatemala; José Sánchez, Mexico; Ruth Cortez, Colombia; Hortensia Quevedo, Chile; David Hernandez, Mexico; Renata Hernandez Beltran, Mexico. To each and every one of you, a great big hug, many blessings, many congratulations on behalf of all of LVE. Very well. I'd like to present some gifts that we have received. Let's go in order. The vitamins have arrived that always very, very kindly Madeline sends. Many thanks, Madeline. They have arrived perfectly well. Spectacular vitamins to keep us healthy so that we can continue to present the studies every Shabbat. Also, I'd like to show you these bracelets that the Roblero family gave to Leslie because of the Mother's Day. Congratulations to all the mothers. Many thanks, the Roblero lineage, and from Honduras because of their traveling over there. They sent us, for example, these butterflies that I imagine that it's to put something on the wall. They're from Honduras. It's from the Martinez lineage that was traveling over there, and a whole bunch of things that are typical from Honduras, so that we can try what they make over there. Different tribes of biscuits, of some fried potatoes, crisps, because we're kind of thin. They wanted to help us a bit so that we can grow a little bit more. Coffee, grain coffee, look, I like it. And another coffee also. Let's see, what coffee is it? It's from grain coffee. It's another spectacular brand. Many, many thanks, Brenda and Ali and Gabi, who were the ones that were over there. Many thanks. Well, time to go out and look for the moon. Tomorrow, the 29th day. Today's the 28th day. As you can see, tomorrow's the 29th. It'll be very thin, so then everyone go out and watch for the moon, because we'll be changing the month tomorrow. Tomorrow, Sunday at sunset. Not tonight. Tomorrow, Sunday at sunset. The moon will appear very fine, hard to see, but it'll be seen, and we'll switch into the second month, which is called Ishar. So then all of LVE, go out and look for the moon. I always say, even if we don't see it, we're going to switch over to the next month either way. But it's a formality and a tradition that we have to go out and look for the moon. So then everyone tomorrow at sunset, go out and look for the moon. If you can't take a picture, we love that you at least report it and say we saw the moon in this city, and that's enough. Take pictures and post them in the Eternal Truth, in Leslie's timeline mine, and let us know. So then tomorrow night we switch over to the second month. Very well. Speak just very shortly, but I have to tell you, maybe bore some of you with this, but it's all part of a package. Aside from the fact that I always see it as all the reality that we live in this world that is related with everything. Last Shabbat, first of all, to be a part of Boca makes me so happy. It doesn't matter if we win or lose. It's something else. But speaking about the game that I believe that most of you watched, and if you didn't, then just bear with me a little bit here. And this, what's going on with this balance here? Oh yeah, it was kind of. Let me fix the balance of Miss Justice here. She's not weighing correctly. Okay, it's better there. Okay. That represents LVE, Miss Justice. What happened last Shabbat? There's no explanation whatsoever. Those who watched the game will share with me and coincide with me that Boca was superior in every aspect against the Huracan team. That was a small team. Boca had everything to win. Their people in their stadium to just go right over them. I could see such a difference between Boca and Huracan. What happened? We lost, and we lost 3-2. Huracan kicked once against the goal and scored 3 goals. How can that be? Huracan kicked once against the goal, and they scored 3 goals. Why? Because first, our goal, I don't know why, it's things that I don't understand, it's way past of my logic. 3 days prior, he was injured, he couldn't stand, and 3 days later, he was fine, and 2 things happened. When you were injured, you weren't that injured, or when we played last Shabbat, you weren't all that great. One of the two. But it can't be that a player went out on a stretcher and then on the 3rd day he's fine. I think they're messing with us. Bray takes a ball out of the goal post. I'm not going to talk a lot about tactics, but I don't like when the number 5 is the midfield, the central midfield. The function of number 5 is the link between the defenders and the forwards. We have 2 in the area, 2 open, which are the side ones. One on the right, one on the left, and number 5 in that position. It could have a different number, but number 5 is the link. It is very important. Different types of number 5s. There are 5s that are more defensive. There are 5s that are more offensive. We in Boca play with double 5. Delgado does that short guy, and Paredes. Sometimes Paredes is a little behind, and sometimes Paredes is behind, and Delgado's ahead. It's double 5. I like it. A double 5, aside from the 4-4-2 that I like. A double 5. What I don't like is when the goalie gives it to number 5, and there are players close, because number 5 is looking at the goalie. He's got his back to the goal that we have to attack, so then if I'm looking backwards and I'm looking at my goalie, I don't look at who's around me. And when I receive the ball, I receive it from with my back to the goal that I have to go, so I have to receive it and turn, and in all that loss of time, we lose one time, and I don't like going out with players that have their back to the goalpost that we attack. I always like a strong attack to or on the sides. With number 5 you can go, but when there's no one. But if there are players close to number 5 and he's backwards, it's horrible. It's mistakes we cannot make. And so our goalie gives it to number 5. He's got his back to the goal that we have to attack. He doesn't notice. When he turns, there's 2 players from Huracan. One takes the ball from him. He passes him quickly. He enters into the goal 4 minutes in, and we're losing 1-0. Ball that we gave them. Huracan didn't do anything. It was our mistake and a mistake of number 5. These are a mistake of both, but more than anything, the goalie that has given it to a player that is marked. He says, and then give it to the one that was on this side. Why didn't you give it to the other one directly? I mean, incredible things happened. The first mistake was a goal against. It was 1-0. Then we started to attack all over. I mean, the goalie would just take the balls out with his ass. I mean, our ball could not go in. And I saw that there was something more. I always see that there was something more. Everything that I say now, take it with a grain of salt. Completely speculative. I am teaching lessons of life that I see, but take it on the good side. The ball didn't want to go in under any aspect. It was dominion of Boca, absolutely. By luck, we tied. And we go into the lengthening of the game. In the lengthening, the guy, Dilol, he's a fighter from Boca. He's not too skilled. He makes mistakes. He's not the defender that I wish we had in Boca. I want defenders with a lot more presence and skill. But he wants to play. And I like him. And he's from Boca. I like him. But he has his mistakes. And he made a very small, dumb mistake that many arbiters don't charge after 20 minutes of playing. You're tired, the brain's already sends the signal, but the muscles don't answer in the same way. When the player turned around, he turned the other side. He left his paw there. It's just a small little penalty. They can charge it as a penalty. Some say that no, because the other little penalty, tiny penalty. Huracan scores again. The extended time had just started. At 2 minutes in, a center into the area, Dilolo, the same player, jumps with his hands as if he thought he was a volleyball player. Because he goes like that. A defender says that you can't jump with your hands up like that. You can't. Because it would be a penalty. You have to jump with the hands backwards. You have to know where to place your hands. He jumps, but it has no logic. If I would analyze it coldly, I would say he did it on purpose. Both things he did on purpose, because it just doesn't fit in my head that a professional player to make those mistakes. But I also understand that Lilolo was very, very perturbed in his mind to have caused that penalty in his mind. He still had that, having 60,000 people looking at him, knowing that he let everyone down, millions of people on the field, and then a whole quantity of others, 1,000 people looking at him on television, never looking at him. What did you do? A player can't take that off of his head quickly, so he was super perturbed. And he stopped thinking. He was perturbed. And when he jumped incorrectly. He was not locked in another brutal mistake. So lessons that we can draw, the lessons of the situations. So then we gave them 1 goal and 2 penalties, and with that Huracan won. We kicked a whole bunch, and it didn't want to go in. and they kick out 2 players. They should have kicked out Acosta because of a plank. The arbiter didn't kick him out, but he should have. He didn't kick him out. What happened? They kicked 2 of their players, one fine and the other one wrong. Because just by protesting, I will not kick out a player. They stayed with 9 players against 11 of ours, and not even so could we tie. We scored a goal, and then we couldn't score anymore. Because actually, the game was decided from beforehand. Who decided this game? I can assure you there's no other explanation of everything that has been seen. I'm not going to blame the players. I'm not going to blame Di Lolo. I'm not going to blame Bray. It was decided from above because Yahweh said, you will not pass. You will be shamed, and I'm going to make all your lives bitter. That's the way it was. That's the way it was. There's no other explanation. There's no other explanation. If we played that game 20 times over, we would win 20 times over. Without any doubt, what would happen? It was a tragedy to embitter us, for Yahweh to show us that maybe it's not the time. And many things, but that's the way it is. And to fuck it all up. Because it makes me so happy when Boca wins. Also, as when the chickens lose. If you truly are from Boca, you are happy with Boca, and you're happy when the chickens lose. It's automatic. It's part of the passion. The passion. The next day, the very same thing happened. River played against San Lorenzo. San Lorenzo had a spectacular game. Spectacular. They were winning 1-0. The chickens couldn't enter anywhere. If you don't know what the chickens are, is the River Plate team. The great fridge that they have is a stadium where it's so cold when you go there. So then they were winning. A phenomenal game. San Lorenzo, tell the truth. I'm not angry at them at all. No matter if they're our father, because they have more games won. It doesn't make me upset. Not even their colors. It doesn't make me angry at all. If I see that they are champion, it doesn't cause me, I get happy, almost. We're winning 1-0. We were, because we were playing against River. It's all of us. It was 1-0. What happened? The impossible thing happened. The entire stadium was insulting them. They were saying, players, your mother's cunt. Let's see if you put balls into this game, and then the other game, let them all go. Let them all. Let not one stay. That's what they were all singing. The whole entire. Let them all go, and for not one alone to be left. The time clock, they had given them 4 minutes. I believe, I'm not sure. They were in the last second, and the game already with the referee always standing, and the game almost finishing. There's a free kick for River. The free kick for River was a center that came in. Juan Fernando, Colombian kid. I love the way he plays, but he's a chicken. He throws the center for somebody to hit them. They all missed. Ball goes in, it goes into the arc. Even he says, I didn't go to the arc. I was a center. They all messed up. The goalie. No, they're all in the center, and it enters. And the fucking mother that fucking bore them, they tied the game. Fucking shit, they tied the game. I was so angry. So angry. So angry. Later, they go into penalty shots. It didn't end there. The game was won already. It was won. It was the last ball, the last second, an unintentional goal. And the fucking bitch that bore them, I was already celebrating. Out here, you sons of bitches, chickens. Let's go, San Lorenzo. Nothing. We're going to the penalty shots. The penalty shots, River kicks, goalie stops it. San Lorenzo goal.
La tapa al arquero, se va afuera.
Another goal and River goal. San Lorenzo goal. Three first penalty shots. San Lorenzo scored all three, and River scored one. There was two penalties left. Two penalties. If they would score any one of those two, those of the San Lorenzo, any of those two, the series was over. River could not reach them. What happened? The one from River kicks goal. San Lorenzo kicks out. Fucking shit. Well, let's go. We gotta score a goal. Just one sole goal. And we have two penalties in difference. Everyone insulting them. The one from River goal, San Lorenzo. Make it, you son of a bitch. The goalie stops it. Mother fucking shit. It's all equal now. Now it's 1-1. I think San Lorenzo would kick more if I can remember. I can't remember because I'm in shock still. I'm still in shock with those of Boca. I'm in shock with those sons of bitches. I'm in shock. I'm still in shock. They kick goal of River. Those of San Lorenzo. It hits the post. The goal, Lee touches it, goes to the other one, doesn't enter, and it stayed there like laughing right there next to the ball. It didn't end, you son of a bitch. River passed in the stadium. That was insulting those sons of bitches. Started, let's go River. And the mother bitch that bore them. I'm still in shock of what River won. And but Yahweh was playing against us because River could not have won. I heard them say, they said it would seem to be like a superior force for us to win, which is true. I heard them say it. God helped us. Yeah, entirely. You sons of 1,000 bitches. God feeds these sons of bitches. It's true. Then later, we stayed outside of the tourney, and they are still in there. These sons of bitches. Huracan that beat us, completely out of context, beat us. When they lost against the Argentina Juniors, they didn't want to win. They played like ass. And Argentina Juniors are now in the semifinals that'll play against Belgrano. And today, the Chickens play against Rosario Central. And Independiente, and then Racing. And now, what visits them in the freezer, Monumental Freezer, the one that visits them, and it's today at 3:30 in 4 hours. And I hope, but I know, God wants to embitter me, but He'll do so. I hope that Di Maria and Rosario Central would humble the Chickens to eliminate them. Possibly what will happen is that River will be champion right there. Okay, whatever. So then that's what happened. I have nothing else to say. And the next thing is that on Tuesday we play against Cruzeiro. If we lose, we're out of the cup. If we lose, we are out of the cup. Just like that. Maybe another result out of luck, but no, against Cruzeiro, we have to win, period. It's a life and death game, but we know who's playing for them and for everything. And what will happen, I don't know. On Tuesday at 5:30, Boca Cruzeiro plays 5:30 p.m. It's a game that depends. Good thing we depend on us. We have 2 games left in Copa Libertad, 2 games. Against Cruzeiro and against the Catholic University. We beat both of them, we'll be first. If we lose this one, we'll be eliminated. It depends on us, nothing else. And of others. And of others that go in and play, the sons of bitches come in and play. Very well. That is what I have to say about Boca. Remember, we've got a free consult call, which is Angelina's call. If you're going through some sort of conflict, you have the things like the new bug that's going around or something, you go to the specialist or call Angelina, and she'll give you where it comes and what you're suffering. It's free, and her information is below this video in the description. You scroll down where it says see more. In the description of the video, you see Angelina Silva's Facebook, and she'll give you, when she has time, a consult call, an appointment. Thanks to everyone who remember this free service that we have, and every now and then they send some sort of help to Angelina. Shemah, Israel, YHWH Eloheinu, YHWH Ekhad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our Elohim, Yahweh, is one, and does whatever the fuck he wants. That's what they needed to write on there. He's one and does whatever he wants. Proverbs 25:2. It is the glory of Elohim to conceal the word. Of course, a liar, what he does is to conceal everything. Look at it that way. What does a liar do? He conceals. When someone says the truth is concealed, you'll say he's a liar or not. If the guy conceals the truth, what is he doing? He's lying. So then the author of this book, the intellectual author of this book, you see he's the father of lies. He's the father of the concealments. And how was his book concealed? And it's his glory to conceal. It is his glory to lie, to not tell you the truth. Good thing that there is another glory, which is the glory of the king, that can go past the lies and search out and get to the truth. That is the text, absolute text. It talks about that the father of lies is him. He conceals. And we're sick and tired of the governments that conceal. It's all concealed. Wisdom and Discipline, part 67. Remember that you can send me questions. Today I have a question, 1:30, let's say. They didn't ask me for the study, but they asked us, and I think that I found it to be correct to do it for everyone. It was not for the study, but it was a question. But remember that you can send me it'll always be anonymous, and I'll answer you always. Don't be afraid. I know that somebody don't like my way of answering because I'm very passionate. Maybe in my answers, but they're anonymous. Don't you worry. No one knows who's asking. No one knows. I don't even know. I start to read. I can't remember who asked. Tell the truth. In some cases, I know because I remember. But most, since my guide, I put who wrote. I take it out so that my mind. It's kind of like treat you anonymously too. Invitational text before the questions is Yahweh possessed me in the beginning from times of old before his works. Eternally I had the kingship before the earth. What does this text mean? It's marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. Incredible. Concealed, of course. We'll study what it means, this text. That no one understands. No one understands it. And that's fine, because it's concealed, because Yahweh lied to everyone. But let me clarify, Proverbs 8 is absolutely marvelous, incredible. Question number 1. This is the question that I modified to present it. What can I do if I wasn't able to, whatever the motive it might be, whatever it might be, to celebrate Pesach? And this goes for everyone in case something happened and you didn't have internet, you had to leave, something happened, an emergency, you weren't at home, it wasn't like you expected, or doesn't matter. Or just decided not to celebrate, and then later you said, I should have celebrated, because tell the truth, I like to belong to a group that does things in their way differently. I would like to celebrate and didn't. Is there a solution? Well, Pesach is the only feast in the whole calendar that Yahweh placed for Israel, that it's so important for him that he has a second opportunity to celebrate it. It's got a second opportunity. It's so important. It's got a second chance. And all of you know that the second chance to celebrate is in the second month, the month that we're going to enter into tomorrow night at 14 days also. Now there's no more 7 days of the unleavened bread, bikurim, nothing like that, just Pesach. So then the 14th of the second month, it becomes Pesach again for all who didn't do so. Those who the Bible says that were traveling or that were unclean due to the dead or something, blah blah. I say for any reason, doesn't matter. Any reason. Any reason. There's a second chance if you didn't celebrate it. If you already did, then that's done. But if you didn't, the day, Sunday, May 31st, in other words, tomorrow it'll be May 17th. The next Sunday, it's not it, it's the one after that, in 2 weeks. Sunday, May 31st, the last day of May, is Pesach. It's the only one. So then what do you do on Sunday? On Sunday, it's a day which you prepare things that you're going to eat. By tradition, for us, that like the way that I celebrate, but it can variate with leaven. But during Sunday, you prepare everything. You can make some delicious pizzas, which is traditional for me, is the new celebration of Pesach. You make pizza with leaven, not without, with leaven pizza. And that is what you will have dinner after having washed your feet. When the day is already going down, when the sun's going down and it's in the evening, then you wash your feet, you're alone. And if you're with someone, you do it mutually. Just a little pail of water. That's just the rite. It's just the rite of cleansing. We really are cleansed, but it's like you have to clean just a little more. I love that rite. You wash your feet, and after the cleansing of the feet, you make a matzah at least without leaven, because that is what will represent the flesh of Yahweh, which has no life, but the life is in the blood. And you drink real wine. You buy a real wine, not a grape juice. It's no good. It has to be wine, because the wine is done with leaven. It's got leaven, so then you do it with wine, which represents that life is in the blood, as the Bible says. So you make one matzah at least. However, it may come out just water, flour, whatever, without any leaven. You make one, and it represents, you eat that saying, this is the body of Yahweh, which for us, He came and died, and you eat it. And then this is the blood of Yahweh, which He poured out, and He deserves it and deserves victory, and you drink that blood. It is a right. Is it horrible? Might be horrible, but it's a right. Nonetheless, so then after that rite, the unleavened bread, the wine, and from then on out, then you're free to celebrate in the new way. And the new way is bread with leaven. The unleavened bread is over. The bread of suffering, of anguish, tribulation, it's over. I accept the tribulation that Yahweh had, which He deserved a lot more, and I drink His blood, which has life, and afterwards I celebrate with bread with wine. If you didn't do so with us, when was it? 2 Shabbats ago, right? It wasn't last Shabbat, it was the other one. It was the other one, right? 2 Shabbats, right? So then you repeat this, right? You already know. The 14th of the second month, which is Sunday, May 31st. Very well. If you forgot, you didn't give it importance, couldn't do so, I invite you to do so. Second question. Hello, Christian. I'm always expecting with anxiety the Shabbat study to get hopes to continue. This life is awful, boring, with no sense at all, but I identify with your words that give me the strength to confront the weak. Soccer never really caught my attention, although I played as a child, but for me it's a business like the rest of the sports, an entertainment, and it's boring. But you can't imagine how I enjoy when I hear you talk about Boca, and it's like you
de esa pasión que
are
transmite,
contagious with that
que me
passion,
agita las emociones
and
y
it
me
really
saca de la
turns my
nada misma.
emotions up.
Te
I
lo
really thank
agradezco de
you.
verdad.
Aguante Boca.
Aguante
Let's go
Boca.
Boca. My question
Mi pregunta
is it normal
¿es normal que ser
that to be
parte de
uh,
LV me
part
haga
of
ver
LV
esta
makes
vida
me
peor
see this life as
y
worse
más
and even more depressing than
deprimente
what I used to see it
de lo
before?
que antes la
That is the
veía?
question.
Esa es la pregunta.
Is it normal
¿Es normal
that
que ser
being a
parte
part
de la
of the
verdad
eternal truth makes
eterna
me see
me
this
haga
life as
sentir
worse
esta vida
and
peor
even more
y
depressing
más
than what I used to see
deprimente
it
de lo
before?
que antes
Is it
la
normal
veía? Es
that the more
normal
I
que
understand the
mientras
Bible,
más entiendo la
I see
Biblia,
this existence
veo
as
esta
worse
existencia peor e
and
inaguantable.
unbearable? I ask you because
Me
before I used
pregunto,
to
porque antes vivía despreocupado, mi
be
salvación estaba en
unworried. My
Jesús,
salvation
los
was in
muertos
Jesus,
estaban en el
the
cielo,
dead were
y
in
creía
heaven,
en
and
la
I believed in
ciencia.
science. Now everything's different.
Ahora todo es
Everything
diferente.
has been a
Todo
lie and
fue y es
deceit.
mentira y
Now
engaño.
everything depends on
Ahora
us,
todo
and the
depende
time
de
of
nosotros, y el
waiting
tiempo de
is
espera
unbearable.
se hace insoportable.
Greetings to all LVE and
Saludos
many
a todo
thanks for your
LB y muchas
dedications
gracias
for
por
people
tu
that you
dedicación a personas que
don't
no
even
conoces
know
y
and
tu
your
esfuerzo y
effort
tiempo para
to
abrir
open our
nuestros
eyes.
ojos.
Let's go
Aguante
LVE.
LV.
Well, first of all,
Bueno,
I
en primer
thank you
lugar, te agradezco
for
por lo que
your
por
honesty,
tu
that you don't like
sinceridad
soccer,
que trato
and
de
at
estar
least
fútbol
I
y por lo menos
transmit
algo
you
te
with that
transmito
passion.
de esa pasión.
To tell you the truth, I had lost it
La
for
verdad
many
que yo
years.
la había perdido por muchos
The
años,
passion
la pasión
of watching a game,
mirar el
to
partido
suffer,
y
more than
disfrutar,
anything,
sufrir,
suffer
más que nada sufrir, de sufrir
because a lot
y
you
porque
suffer a lot
mucho
more
más
than you
sufrir que
celebrate. That is
festejar,
clear.
está claro.
It's
Boca
been
se
4
fue
years
cuando
that
no
it's
está
been
haciendo
champions
nada.
of nothing. 4 years, mamma. So then it's more
Entonces,
suffering
mucho
than
más sufrir que
celebrating.
festejar.
And you might
Y
say,
uno dice, ¿para qué
why the
carajo
fuck would I
me
get
meto en
into
esto?
the
Si podría
suffering?
sufrir al toque,
Suffering
si
just
podría hacer otras
like
cosas,
that.
perder
I could be
tiempo,
doing
pero
something else.
22 estúpidos
Just
pateando
seeing
un
22 idiots kicking
cuero
an
inflado.
inflated leather.
Entonces hay que buscarle la
So then you have to
vuelta
turn,
y hay
look
un
for something.
bichito,
There's a little
una
bug of a
pasión
passion
que no se
that
ve a
you
veces
don't
a
see
simple
sometimes
vista,
at a simple
pero es el amor por
glance, but it's the
algo,
love
por
for
un
something,
equipo,
for a
por una
team,
insignia,
for a
por una
sign,
bandera,
for
por
a
unos colores.
colors,
Es algo
something that you cannot explain, that you cannot explain.
que empieza a crecer en vos
Starts to grow on you,
y te hace,
and it makes you,
te puede hacer
it could
mucho más
make you
infeliz.
even more unhappy. That is clear, but it's part of life itself. And in the end of it all, that I sometimes say, you have to be careful of the emotions. When we don't have emotions, then also we would have to die, because we have to have emotions. We have to have them. Even if they're negative, sometimes we enjoy them, because we can't enjoy anything good if something bad hasn't happened to us, because you enjoy it a lot better when things that you desired with lots of pain. If you receive everything for free, you don't deserve anything, you know, didn't desire for anything, and everything that you can think of, you have it, you have it, you have it. It makes no sense. The pleasure is enjoyed a lot more after having suffered pain, believe it or not. You might say it can't be. Yes, pain makes us feel alive. When I get up, everything hurts. I said, that's good that it hurts. That this hurts because I'm not alive. Nothing will hurt. So then when I get up, I see what doesn't hurt, and everything hurts. That is how it's designed. But thank the pain, thank, because it is the emotion, and I sometimes have been against. We should not have emotion. Tell you the truth, we are emotion. So then, soccer, at least in a life that's pretty boring like this one and depressive with everything we see, there's something at least to make you unhappy, and for moments it makes you happy, and sometimes you insult them and you sons of bitches, fuck off, and then all of a sudden goal, and those emotions move you in your life, make your heart really pump. You son of a bitch, they scored in this. It's beautiful to insult them in Argentina. There's a lot less psychological problems, because people go and insult there in the field, and then later on they're okay, but he insulted that son of a bitch. So then they take out all the negative emotions. It's against the TV. That's how you have to watch them. Not just, oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. No, you have to see it with emotion. Come on, let's go, Boca. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And yeah, that is how you have to see the game. The blood has to, or else we're just dead. Without emotion, Everything we do, we have to do it with lots of feeling. And I lost the word. Passion. Even if it hurts us later, I'd rather deal with the consequences because even I live that passion. I don't want to be some guy that's controlled, always controlled. Bad things happen, they don't affect me. Good things happen, they don't affect me. I am just ice like this and everything's under control. No! You have to have passion in this life. And we are passionate. I'm inclined to say we have to be careful with the emotions. No. Normotomy is like that. When you're like that, flatline, you're dead. So then you do have to have passion. It's the only way to be above. Then you're below, son of a bitch. How didn't you make that goal, you son of a fucking bitch? That's why they play you $2 million to kick the ball. You son of a bitch, goal! That is how you have to live life. In every aspect, or else you're dead. And then it's like you're closer to river, which are all called. Sometimes they insult everyone. That's why I talk about soccer, to give you a lot more passion to your life. That's why I like the comment that said everything is dog shit. 22 idiots running there. Give it a little bit of passion. Don't look at it like this, like, we won, that's great. No, celebrate, cry, you get angry. Then it goes away. It's like exercising. If I do an exercise, I'm like this and I die. Then I grab something, it hurts. Oh, what a beautiful rest. You don't know what the fuck would be a rest if you don't do an effort. Do an effort, what a pain. And then later you rest. Oh, what bit of it, then more effort. That's how life has to be, or else you're dead. That's the way it is. Moving on with the questions. Going to the questions. Is it normal that being a part of LVE makes me see this life even worse and even more depressive than what I used to see before? Of course. Welcome to the club. Of course. If you don't see it worse than before, it is because you haven't understood the message of LVE. LVE doesn't make you see life beautiful. It doesn't make you see, oh, how beautiful. Going out every day to breathe, you're a celestial being. God takes care of you. No. The message of LVE is entirely, if you live a life in peace, for you to submerge to the hell that you lived in, and when you thought that everyone loved you, and the government would take care of you, and the white robe priest wanted to save your life and everything worked for you, that's a lie. Even God wanted to deceive you ever since you were born, it's a lie. So then, when you open your eyes, you find that there are many problems. The same thing that happened with Adam and Eve. They ate of the fruit of the wisdom, and what happened? They noticed that they were naked. They felt the first emotion, and then a beast came afterwards. And they said, what did you do? The beast said, oh no, I ate. You ate of my fruit, the beast says. Now you're going to have this. That beast is the same one that directs us. Now you're going to do this. You'll be cursed, this and that. Same thing that we see now. Of eating of the fruit makes you to change your life radically. If you lived in a garden, LV submerges you to hell. And since people don't like that, they leave. That's why there's even less. Sometimes I ask, wow, how many of us are left? We have, and I will not give a message so that the people come to feel well. No. I open your eyes, whether you like it or not. This is the life you live. It's all a lie. It's all a deceit. Absolutely. From your parents even to the religion, everything. The people don't want to listen and hear that. And if you are part of LB, then you have to feel it's not normal. You have to feel worse. And then it says it's normal that the more I understand the Bible, I see this existence even worse and unbearable. Of course. Of course. But of course. Of course. If you don't understand it, LVE. Well, welcome to the club. We all feel that way. And there's another one that felt that way also. This question will be a little bit longer.
esta pregunta va a ser de larga
This question will be of a long answer, because I said before this
Estamos estudiando a Salomón.
question, I'm going to answer. We're studying Solomon because Solomon wrote the book of the Proverbs that we're studying. Solomon represents wisdom itself.
Salomón está considerado el hombre más sabio de
Solomon
todos
is
los
considered to be the wisest man of all times.
Era rey de Israel.
Solomon was the king of
Era
Israel.
un hombre al
He
cual
was a man
Dios le entregó
to which
más
God
sabiduría
gave
que a ningún
even
otro
more
hombre.
wisdom than no other man. He is the author of what we're studying, which is a message for us. And Solomon, aside from all that, represents the Messiah. Like I've said many times, Solomon
Salomón
is
es
the
el
type
tipo
of the
del
Messiah.
Mesías.
So then,
Entonces,
that is why we study Proverbs. And this answer, I will answer it exactly from the very hand of Solomon. He had a position that you could not imagine and could not be equaled. He was a king, something that we're not. He was already a king. Not just a king, he was one of the men, if not the richest man of them all. To that we add that he was wisdom itself. And if he has to answer this question, he'll answer it this way. And if he experienced this, that we all feel that this life is dog shit, and that maybe if we had not known LVE, we'd be submerged in the system and wouldn't notice. But for us, it is terrifying because we see everyone stupefied, and we see it's all stupid, it's all deceit, it's all dog shit, everything. Just like that, everything. From the news to science, everything. This history is a lie. It's all a lie. So then, if he experienced that, we were going to experience that also, because he is a type of the Messiah. In other words, he's a messianic figure. A figure of the Messiah himself. But there's a great difference. We have something else, which I'll explain after reading what he'll answer to this very question. Ecclesiastes. I'm going to read the first chapter of Ecclesiastes and the second one, 1 and 2, and I'll read it in the New Living Translation. I'm not going to explain everything, if it's well translated or not. No. This is like an answer of Solomon, of when you know more, you open your eyes, and you experience this pain. That's why I like a lot to separate things a lot. I know that soccer is dog shit. I know that soccer is a business. I know it perfectly well. Of course it's a business. But at least it distracts me and I experience emotions, even though I know I'm not sure if they're going to be even worse. But I want to experience that in my life, because if I enclose myself and I become more immune to everything, I lose the sense for everything. I try to look for things that make sense for me. Ecclesiastes chapter 1. This is what Solomon experienced, and he'll explain why. These are the words of the teacher, King David's son, who ruled in Jerusalem. Everything, and he wrote this, by the way, being a king, everything is meaningless, says the teacher. Completely meaningless. What do people get for all their hard work under the sun? Generations come and go, but the earth never changes. The sun rises and the sun sets, then hurries around to rise again. The wind blows south and then turns north. Around and around it goes, blowing in circles. Rivers run into the sea, but the sea is never full. Then the water returns again to the rivers and flows out again to the sea. It's given an explanation that it's always the same thing, that it's all a bore. We're in the presence of a man that is extremely wise. Everything is so wearisome beyond description. Not an ignorant fool speaking here, mind you. This is a scholar. This is, in the end of it all, it's all wearisome and beyond description. No matter how much we see, we're never satisfied. No matter how much we hear, we are not content. History merely repeats itself. It has all been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new. Sometimes people say, here's something new. But actually, it is old. Nothing is ever truly new. We don't remember what happened in the past. And in future generations, no one will remember what we're doing now. I, the teacher, was king of Israel. He said I was king, but he was still the king. And I lived in Jerusalem. He could care less, not even his title. He gave everything as laws. I want you to understand what a person feels when they study certain things. I, the teacher, was king of Israel, and I lived in Jerusalem. I devoted myself to search for understanding and to explore by wisdom everything being done under heaven. I soon discovered that God has dealt a tragic existence to the human race. Magnificent. Put that on the wall. When you don't study anything, God is so good, He's so just, my God, blah, blah, blah. When you actually study and see and observe how the kingdom of the animals, the vegetables, how the humans are, you notice something. I soon discovered that God had dealt a tragic existence to the human race. Exactly. Good there, Solomon. Good there, Solomon. That's where all the problems begin. He is blaming Elohim directly. It's just that the people that read this don't notice. It says, I discovered that God gave us a dog shit life. Good there, Solomon. An applause for Solomon. He's not saying glory to God. He's so good. We're evil. No. He's saying God gave us a dog shit life. The worst that you can think of. Tragic. Filthy. And not some poor idiot is saying it, no. Or some guy that can't get a woman, or that has to work sundown to sundown, that doesn't have job time for anything. It's a multi-billionaire king with all the women that he could have. Oh, he can think about pleasures. He's saying this. I observed everything going on under the sun. And really, it is all meaningless. Like chasing the wind. What is, it's all vanity of vanity. It is like chasing the wind. What is wrong cannot be made right. What is missing cannot be recovered. Of course, lives start with that. I'll tell you what is the situation of Solomon. I'll tell you now, but he'll say it. I'll highlight it. We see a guy. He can't just say that he's depressed. No. Depressed because he comprehended the meaning of life. That's why the eternal truth has to cause that same effect in you, because he opens your eyes so you see. Solomon opened his eyes and he says, what a dog shit life. I like what he says. What is wrong cannot be corrected. That's true. Nothing in the world that's wrong can be corrected. What has been lost cannot be recovered. And I said to myself, look, I am wiser than any of the kings who ruled in Jerusalem before me. I have greater wisdom and knowledge than any of them. He started with reasoning, saying, hold on. Am I seeing this right? I'm the wisest person that has ever existed. Let's see things more differently. So I set out to learn everything. I said, no. I want to learn everything. I'll learn everything that I can so I can be entertained. All of us experience this. So I set out to learn everything, from wisdom to madness and folly. I'll study it all, from wisdom to madness and folly entirely. But I learned firsthand that pursuing all this is like chasing the wind. It has no sense, makes no sense at all. Not wisdom makes sense, nor madness makes sense, nor folly makes sense. Nothing makes sense. The greater my wisdom, the greater my grief. There's the answer. With a greater wisdom, the greater grief. the greater the depression, the greater the letdown. It's the same thing that happened to that guy from The Matrix. In the movie, I've always told you this, the guy noticed that they saw that they were hiding in the system, eating dog shit food. He said, I don't want to live this. I'd rather be deceived and be connected and be a battery for the system. But for me to enjoy a good food, even if it's not real. And he betrayed everyone in order for him to be put back into the system that he knew was alive, that his real body was connected and being used to be a battery. But his mind, his fantasy, his reality is that he lived like a guy that was eating, going with women. You remember that, right? But he preferred not to know the truth. That is absolutely magnificent once you understand it. Solomon tells you, the more wisdom I have, the greater is my grief. To increase knowledge only increases sorrow. If you, after understanding the eternal truth, is happier than ever in life, then you haven't understood the message of the eternal truth. When you get up in the morning, you see that it's all a lie. The government's a lie. Life is a lie. Your parents are dog shit. If they're not from the eternal truth because they lied in everything, you can't speak not even your brethren and your sisters about religion. They'll treat you like a crazy person. They believe whatever lies that they like, but it's all a lie. They all believe in science. And now everyone's about the hentai. And the word hentai in Hebrew, in slang, I mean, I don't know if it comes to the case, but it means deceit. The word hentai in Hebrew means deceit. A story for children. It's another story. But anyway, let's leave that. But the whole world is now starting to make the same mistake that when the other one came. The cup of wine, they're all afraid. They're like, I want to get in touch with that person, but no, he takes care of himself, he protects himself, he always trusts in science and the white robe priest. If I tell him something, you're crazy, and we're crazy. We're completely crazy. We don't believe in that. We don't believe in anything in science. Or that lies, the nuclear bombs, we don't believe. That the governments actually fight each other. It's all the same government. We don't believe anything. We don't believe in Jesus that will come and look for us. We don't believe in hell. We don't believe dog shit. So then you really are crazy, completely off your rocker. But on our side, that we see, what they don't see, then those who live marginated and with pain is us, not them, because the whole world, the Matrix, was living well. Those who were off of it were off of this system or not. They weren't doing well because as long as you're in the system, you're going to live and die by the system, but happy. So happy or not happy, but the pressure that it's all a lie, that it's all a deceit, and you look at the people and the people, you know that it's a deceit in everything that they have and in everything they do and in everything they believe. And you say, where do I start? I'm not going to say anything. I'll just say I'm a Christian. And yeah, that's fine. It's all fine. Because you cannot tell one sole truth to a person. They completely label you as a completely insane person. And if you tell them that God's a son of a bitch, tell a Christian that. You can't start anywhere. So then we're completely taken away from reality, from the bubble of this system. So then Solomon noticed, and he said, the more, where was it? I soon discovered that God had given a tragic existence to the human race. For the greater my wisdom, the greater my grief. To increase knowledge only increases sorrow. Only increases sorrow. Chapter 2, it continues. I said to myself, come on now. Let's give pleasures a try, since everything is lost. I know all that. I'll dedicate myself to do something else. I said, let's go give pleasure a try. Let's look for the good things in life. But I found that this too was meaningless. He tried it and he says, it doesn't bring me happiness. Because once you open your eyes, it no longer brings you happiness. It doesn't bring you more happiness. Then I said, it is silly to be laughing all the time. I said, what good does it do to seek only pleasure? Exactly. They don't fill you anymore. Before, the things that filled you no longer fill you. And that is painful, because one wants to feel the pleasure that you lost. And you don't ever get it back. Before, it was pleasurable to listen to, I don't know, something that would fill your heart. Now, it no longer fills your heart. You don't feel the same. Before, you used to go to a church and they would say, Christ loves you, Christ offers you salvation, and you would believe it, and you would rejoice and have a spiritual orgasm. Now there's no longer that. Like they write to me, there's no longer that. Before, it was like, right, of course, Christ would forgive my sins, and how evil I was, he would forgive me. And I had the hope that my family members and people that were like me, that were good, were in heaven. And now I notice that they're all dead. There's no one in heaven. And no Jesus is coming to save me. And there's no prayer that can give me life. It's only me, the one that has to produce that. And that's a lot more horrible and difficult. And I really have to process it a lot to believe it. One thing is to be saved. Everyone wants to be saved. Another is not just to be saved, but to save the rest. It's the great heavy burden on the shoulder. That's what the people leave. Don't think that the people leave because I'm hateful, because I'm from Boca, because I speak about soccer. No, because they can't stand what I say. Because the people want it easy. The people want to be saved. They want a messianic figure, a Christ Jesus, that will save them. Subject is that I preach something else, that the saviors are ourselves. And that we're very far away from having power. And everything comes out wrong. Boca has to win, and by divine magic they lose. The chickens, they're lost already. And more than divine, they win. And you say, you fucking son of a bitch. Let's see when you stop messing with the games and embitter our lives. That's the way it is. The people hear that. The people say, no, this is not for me. This is some dog shit crazy person. I'm looking for a savior. I'm not looking to be the savior. I'm looking for a savior. And that's precisely the eternal truth is not. It is a savior, not looking for a savior. So then I said, it is silly to be laughing all the time. What good is it to be going around in pleasure? After thought, I decided to cheer myself with wine. Put wine, marijuana, drugs, women, whatever you want. Men, too. This is not just for men, this is for women. Whatever you want on there. Netflix, soap operas, whatever you want. While still seeking wisdom, I decided to cheer something that gives you pleasure. While still seeking wisdom, I clutched at foolishness. In this way, I hoped for experience, the only happiness most people find during their brief life in this world. Now he starts to show what the problem is. What his problem is. He says it right here. The brief passing through this world. Now he's going to clarify it. I did wine, alcohol, look for pleasures. Nothing satisfies me anymore. You really shit on my life. You know, when there's people in movies that says, you ruined my life. Well, LV ruined your life, of course. Because it took everything that you believed that was true and it said, this is a lie. Believe it if you want. You don't have to be an idiot. You decide to believe the lie. But you see, you didn't give me anywhere to walk on. It is called only one path, the eternal truth. It is the way, the truth, and the life. The rest is an abyss of hells and deceit. But before I lived better. You wanted to know the truth? You can't handle the truth. As it was in that movie, this guy in A Few Good Men. Can you handle the truth? the truth will make you suffer. And it submerges you in hell, separates you from your family, from your friends, your ideals, separates you from this world. Because this world is all a deceit, so then he separates you. You want to know the truth or not? It'll make you unhappy in this world, in this system, forever. Make you unhappy. No one's happy here knowing that it's all a bunch of idiots, deceived robots that believe what they are fed. 4. I also tried to find meaning by building huge homes for myself and by planting vineyards. Of course, we cannot build a house for ourselves, but he had the resources. So then sometimes what we dream of, I want to have this, and sometimes we have a little house. Well, multiply that as if you have many resources, because your problem is not that you don't have money. In this world, your problem is not that you don't have money, because you would be unhappy either way. We have the richest person in the world here. This is not just a house, but mansions, complete mansions is what I'll build. We dream with a little house with just a couple rooms, whatever vision you may have. I think about great mansions, but he would build them, the son of a bitch. So then, I want for you to think, I would want to have this better car, this better. If I had that, I'd be happy. No, you wouldn't. You would not be happy, because LVE took out that happiness from you, from this world, because this world is all deceit. You won't be happy with anything in this world anymore until we obtain what we want. Nothing else makes us happy. Nothing makes us happy. Just a victory of Boca makes us happy. Nothing else. If you understood the eternal truth. One that understands the truth says this. I also tried to find meaning by building huge homes. We're not talking about a little house, huge homes. And by planting beautiful vineyards for making wine, plantations. The ones that Solomon had, they're the most beautiful. He says that they were spectacular. It's not that he would plant them, but he had thousands of helpers. I planted gardens. How many times do we want to have a garden? And it cost us to take care of it. He made immense gardens and parks. Not just gardens, parks. Filling them with all kinds of fruit trees. I plant little plants here, some trees, and the bugs come and eat them. So even if they give me all the fruit, I wouldn't be happy. Because I understand the concept. I understand the concept that I'm giving you won't make you happy. If you thought that happiness was to be able to get the house, it won't make you happy if it's a necessity. And I recommend for you to do so, but it's not the happiness that you think that you'll have. You won't have it. Because we have hunger for something different. Those are little things that we need, but it's not the end goal. Once we obtain them, we still have the same hunger that we want more. We want more. Either more, or we're unhappy either way, with the house, with the park, with the trees. We're happy either way. Why are we unhappy? So then we go to the psychologist, and he's going to say you're depressed because this, and that. You have to find a motive for your life. There's not a fucking reason in this fucking life for your life, because now I've given you a different necessity. Let's say if you understand it, here we're either Messiah of kings or we're nothing. If you understood. If you didn't, then you'd be happy with a little house or a title or a profession or one woman or a man. You'd be happy with your children or whatever. We, the eternal truth, will not be content with anything. Nothing makes us happy because we want something else. Because as long as we live in this dog shit world of lies, we cannot be happy. There is no chance. There is no chance. We may have little moments of happiness, momentary, but we're still submerged in this dog shit, in this lies. God is the father of lies and gives power to the beast. There's no way of being happy. There's no way of leaving here. I can't go to a different plane.
Estoy sumergido a este puto gobierno.
I'm submerged to this fucking government, this fucking system, and the white robe priest the whole time. And I go out and I see all the citizens, and every citizen is deceived and a deceiver. So then, how can I be happy? You cannot. I built reservoirs. It was not just a river, just a little place for fishes. Reservoirs, the son of a bitch built. I built reservoirs to collect the water to irrigate my many flourishing groves. Tremendous, this guy. Not just with that. I bought slaves, both men and women, and others were born in my household, so then I would buy slaves. It's like I bought all the cars, all the machinery that I needed, everything. I had everything that I wanted. That's what the slaves would be for our time. I also owned great herds and flocks. Well, vegetables, and now let's go with the animals too. I also had herds and flocks more than any of the kings that lived in Jerusalem before me. I collected great sums of silver and gold. Okay. After having all that to top it off, after having everything that I wanted, I collected great sums of silver and gold. Great sums, not a little bit, great sums. He said he didn't even know where to put all the treasure of Solomon. Great sums of silver and gold, the treasure of many kings and provinces. He stole it from the kings. He says, the treasure of many kings and provinces. I hired singers, the wonderful ones, the band ones that he liked. He would bring them home, both men and women, and had many beautiful concubines. I mean, don't even mention it. It's not that he needed women. He wasn't lacking of women. The problem was not women. I would contract both men and women. Pay attention to what he's saying. I contracted men and women and a lot more beautiful concubines. I had everything a man could desire. And a man with lots of money, that is, not a working man. A man with all the money and power of doing whatever he fucking wanted. Everything. Did that make you happy, Solomon? I had everything that a man could desire. So, I became greater in power. He grew in power. Greater in power than any of the kings who ruled in Jerusalem before me. And my wisdom never failed me. I didn't go stupid. I am still the wisest man. Anything that I wanted, I took. He's saying it right here from his own pen. Some people don't understand. This guy didn't pardon anything. He says, everything that I wanted, I took. I did not restrain myself from any joy. I'm not saying it. I'm not explaining this, what he's saying. Everything that I wanted, I made it mine. I didn't deny myself of any joy. It says that once you know the truth, pleasure doesn't make you happy. Everything that I wanted, I made it mine, and I did not deny myself any pleasure. I even discovered that I had great satisfaction to work a lot. I had never worked in my life, and I noticed that by moving my muscles, working gave me pleasure. It's just, look, like the slaves that I bought in the sexual slaves, all of them. I started to work a little bit, and it gave me pleasure, he said. I noticed the reward of all my work. But once I had observed everything that I had achieved with so much effort, I saw that nothing made sense. But you say, why? What do you mean it makes no sense? He had all the pleasures, houses, vineyards, animals, concubines, male concubines, whatever musical bands that he wanted. He wouldn't deny his mom anything. What else do you want? Oh, something he could not obtain. What did Solomon want? What every human being wants. I saw that it was like chasing the wind. There was not absolutely anything that was worth anything anywhere. Perfect. Compared to what the eternal truth compares you, nothing is worth anything. Nothing. The one that wrote Proverbs told you, he says there was no absolutely anything that was worth anything anywhere. Nothing, not visiting, not creating, not having, not fucking, nothing. Nothing. Even if you fuck and get all the gold that you want and all the slaves and female slaves, nothing is worth anything. So I decided to compare wisdom with foolishness. What's going on? I'm the wisest, nothing satisfies me. Let's compare it with foolishness and madness. For who can do this better than I, the king? This is I. I'm the wisest. I'm going to compare madness with foolishness and wisdom. Maybe I'm wrong. 13. I thought wisdom is better than foolishness, just as light is better than darkness. That's true. It is correct. You thought that, well, Solomon's wisdom is better than foolishness, just like light is better than darkness. For the wise can see where they are going, but fools walk in the dark. Exactly. The wise is unhappy, but he sees. Starting with that difference. The wise can be super unhappy and saying it's all dog shit, but he can see. The others don't see. They don't see. Yet, I saw that the wise and the foolish share the same fate. Here is the problem. Here's the problem of insatisfaction on a permanent basis of Solomon. Yet, I noticed that the wise and the foolish share the same fate. Both will die. Oh, Solomon. There it is. Once you noticed you were greater, and you noticed that your youth and that everything, that your body started to hurt, you weren't doing things like before. Even if you got respected, you had everything you wanted, your body was being degraded every day. You start to say, what good is everything that I've done? Nothing. Is there something that is worth more than anything? It's life. It is eternal life. There's nothing that is compared to life. No matter how much you have, we look at each other in the mirror and we're older every day, we're weaker every day, and every day we're more dumb. Every day we are missing more hair and something new hurts. The cells of the skin start to be degraded. We start to take pills, vitamins, this and that, to try to stop the harm, which is irreversible. And for even worse, we look around, we look and see the old people, and we say, I'm going to look like that in a little bit. In a medium time, we look backwards, and our grandparents have died. They don't exist anymore. Our great-grandparents don't exist. Some of our parents are still alive, some don't, but they start to look worse every day. We look at the sicknesses, how the human race suffers, so then there's no motive to be happy ever. Because you're experiencing the same thing that the whole world is experiencing, death, progressive death, and that's what happened to Solomon. Yet I noticed that the wise and the foolish have the same destiny. They both die. So then I said to myself, since I'm going to end up the same as the foolish, what good is all my wisdom? None of that makes sense. He started to notice, I'm going to die just like this idiot. I'm going to die either way. What sense does it make? What I have, what I've achieved, or any pleasure? Nothing else. For both the wise and the foolish, well, he repeats it again. It says, I'll read everything again. Both, he says, yet I noticed that the wise and the fools have the same fate. They both die. So I said to myself, since I will end up the same as the fool, what's the value of all my wisdom? This is all meaningless. For the wise and the fool both die. The wise will not be remembered any longer than the fool. In the days to come, both will be forgotten. Therefore, I came to hate life. Exactly. Like the question, is it normal that we hate life completely? I mean, wholeheartedly. This dog shit life. Because this life, what we actually called life, is death. What I'm hating is the sentence that the Creator gave me of death. We all have a death sentence, even if you're young. Don't think you're full of life. You're not full of life, you're full of death. And death, sooner or later, will get to you. There's nothing that you can do to avoid it. So you're not full of life, you're full of death. And a sure death. And it's better that you take care every day, even if you say you're full of death, because any little accident takes you there. Therefore, I got to hate life. Because everything done here under the sun is so troubling. Everything is meaningless, like chasing the wind. I came to hate all my hard work here on earth, for I must leave to others everything I have earned. Exactly. Welcome to the club. Because I heard this video this week that some idiot was saying the end of the matrimony is to have children. The end goal of is to beget, and I am completely in disagreement. I did not get married to have children. I didn't get married to have children. I got married because I wanted to get married and to live with Leslie. Not to have children. If the children come, that's fine. If they don't, that's also fine. But the end goal was not, hey, I want to get married because I want to have many children. But the people think that way because they know that they will die, and in one way or another, they want to extend their life, even if it's not by their consciousness, another life that is formed through begetting children. How sad that a person got married to have children. No. You get married for love, because you fell in love, because you want to live with a person, because you love to speak with that person, you love to make love with that person, you love to cook with that person, you love to be with that person. And under no point of view is because he wants to have children with that person. If you believe that, it's because you don't know what love is. You don't know what love is. It's got nothing to do to have children with falling in love. In fact, most couples are not in love and have a whole bunch of children. Completely. In fact, they get together to have children only. One thing's got nothing to do with the other. Love does not produce children. No, the children are produced by the sexual relations with love or not. Without anything, you don't need anything. It's just an injection with the sperm and the egg, and that's it. Put it in a womb or whatever. No. Love does not produce children. That's completely stupid. That I'm sure your mom taught you. And she was very wrong. You don't get married to have children. To have children, there's no need that you get married. You can have children with whatever. In every house you can have children. If that is your end goal. Therefore the wise, therefore both the wise and the fool will, where was I? Therefore I got to hate life. Because everything done here under the sun is troubling. Everything is meaningless. It's like chasing the wind. I came to hate all my hard work here on earth, for I must leave to others everything I have earned. And he's talking about his children. He's talking about his children, and you say, I mean, what? He has no heart, this father? No, father has no problem with leaving things for his children. No problem. In fact, it's a pleasure to leave things for his children. What? Silence, please. What he does not want, what a man really makes him sad, like Solomon, just like me, is that you have to leave everything, all your effort to your children, because you're no longer existing. You're ceasing to exist. The house should be yours forever. You should not have to leave it for your children, and you help your son to build his own house. If you have the resources, you can buy it for him and make it for him. But to leave your things to your children is a curse, which means is that you're dying. So then you're going to no longer exist. You're going to cease to exist. How horrible is that? Not for the fact of giving them, but for the fact that you stop existing. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not against giving the children things, of course. And if you're gonna cease to exist, then there's no better person than to give it to your children. That's not what I'm arguing. What I'm arguing is how perverse the system is of life. I'm dying. I'm gonna leave all this. How horrible is that? I don't want to die. That's what Solomon says. I don't want to die. Everything that I've done, I want to do it for me. And if I want to leave it to someone, I'll give it to someone. But I'm still existing. I'm going to have to do other things for me. If I was able to do those things, I can do some other things. I'll leave it for my son, and I'll go and make more for me. That I like is that I'm already bored with this. Perfect. But to leave them because you stop existing is dog shit. That's why I got to hate life. Christian Silva, I hate this life, this dog shit life. If you don't hate this life, it's because you're not of LVE. LVE is a true feeling that hates this life. We want another life. This is dog shit. Every day you get up, you're weaker, more stupid, and uglier. Those three things every day. Today I'm older, more stupid, and weaker than yesterday only. Then 10 years, I mean, forget it. 20 years ago, forget it. It says, I came to hate all my hard work here. Everything that he's done, he started to hate it. In this world, for I must leave it to others everything I have earned. And who can tell whether my successors will be wise or foolish? Yet, they will control everything I have gained by my skill and hard work under the sun, through my wisdom and all the effort that I put in, and they're going to inherit it? How meaningless. He says, absurd. Absurd. How absurd. So, I gave up in despair, questioning the value of all my hard work in this world. Some people work wisely in knowledge and skill, then must leave the fruit of their efforts to someone who hasn't worked for it. Nor are they going to know how it was achieved, the effort, the intelligence, all of the tricks in the good sense of the word. Everything, they'll just receive it like, it's all mine now, without any value. It makes no sense either. In this life, I say, because both Leslie and I, we have not received inheritances, nor will we ever receive inheritance. I always tell this, on top of not receiving inheritance, we put thousands of dollars down. You know, for my sisters to receive their inheritance, we didn't receive any inheritance. It says, I'll read it again. Some people work wisely in knowledge and skill, then must leave the fruit of their efforts to someone who hasn't worked for it. This too is meaningless, a great tragedy. Wow, I like those words. It is a great tragedy. I busted my ass in the Argentinian sense. I speak to Argentinians. I busted my ass to have this. If I die and somebody else enjoys it, that doesn't value it whatsoever, and maybe he spends everything and that's it. It's over. You might say, but it was good for you while you were alive, yes. But to be conscious that I was going to die, he lost all the pleasure of having it. You lose the pleasure of having it, yes. It is a great tragedy. So, what do people get in this life for all their work and anxiety? What do they gain? What a question. What do the people gain with so much effort and worry in this life? What do they gain? What is the pay of this life? What is the pay? The effort and worry. What is it? Their days of labor are filled with pain and grief. Even at night they cannot rest. It is all utterly meaningless. How spectacular! This is some of the best things that Solomon ever wrote because they describe what I feel. They describe what you may ask me. Is it normal that the more I learn of the eternal truth, I feel the worse? It's more than normal. It has to be so. If you didn't, or else you didn't understand the eternal truth. You can't feel just like when you were a little Christian. You can't feel the same. You have to feel with anger because it's all dog shit, because it's all a deceit, because nothing makes sense. It says their days of labor, what do the people earn with so much effort? They earn this. Their days are filled with pain and grief. That is what they gain. Congratulations, that's your trophy. Days of work filled with pain and anguish. Even at night they cannot rest. It is true because they're worried for what they have to pay, what they have to do. Their mind is still working, and things are not enough, or that they live in a situation that they don't like, or that so many things that when they want to work, also the mind suffers because they're filled with worry. It is all utterly meaningless. That's why it says I got to hate life. 24. Then I decided and drew the conclusion that there is nothing better than to enjoy food and drink and to find satisfaction in work. Wow, this conclusion is magnificent if you understand it. I got to notice that to build houses didn't bring me happiness, to buy slaves didn't bring me happiness, to plant parks, mountains, and orchards didn't bring me happiness, to hire slaves and female slaves and many concubines didn't bring me happiness, even though it would seem so. It doesn't. It didn't bring me happiness. So then it says, what does bring me happiness? Finding a job that gives me pleasure to do so. That is what it says. It might seem to be hidden, but it's there. To do an activity that gives you pleasure to do. Man almost cannot do it because he always has to work to earn a living, and he can't do what he wants to do. Few people do what they want to do or they like to do. The singers, they do what they like to do. The writers, maybe they do what they like to do. In certain professions, they do what they like to do, but other professions, I would say 99% of them, they don't do what they wish they could do. They do what they don't want to do, but they have to survive, to feed their family, pay the bills, the house, the car, to eat. So then he does what he doesn't want to do. That's why, what they don't want to do, that's why I say that we're all whores, men and women. Instead of giving our ass, we give our muscles. We have to pick up a box and every day carry it from sundown to sundown. What a difference to put another muscle to work. Oh, it's dignity. What dignity are you talking to me about? You're using all of your effort for someone, for money. By cleaning, you use all your muscles for money. No one opens their eyes. They don't want to open their eyes. We're all whores. We're all prostitutes. All of them. All of us that work for others, we are prostitutes. No matter if you put your sexual organs for sale, you put other organs for sale, but more elemental ones in your life than your sexual organs to the service of another. And then they say, take that there, do this here, work faster, put up more effort into it. Come on, let's go. We have to cleanse, we have to build, do this and that. And you think that that is dignity, and it's not. It is not. Could you put all of your body to the service of other sons of bitches for money? That is what you call to prostitute yourself. There's no turn of the page. That is what it is, the definition of becoming a prostitute. There's no turn of the page. You are prostituting yourself for another, because the other will tell you what to do, how fast, and what he expects from you. So then, we're all prostitutes, all of us, because we are enslaved. But Solomon says, then I drew the conclusion that there is nothing better than to enjoy food and drink, the good food and the good drink, and to find satisfaction in work. What does it mean to find satisfaction in work? To find a job that you like, to find the job, not to find the, look for the satisfaction, but if you work in a place that doesn't give you satisfaction, you'll never get satisfaction, ever. It's to look for a job that gives you satisfaction. Is that possible? It's very difficult. It is absolutely very difficult. Then I noticed that these pleasures come from the hand of God. Wow. There he found out that the son of a bitch behind it all is God. Read it the way it is written. I've realized that if you have pleasure in anything, it is because he allows it. Because in his world, in his kingdom, he wants for the whole world to suffer. So then, the time that you have any pleasure and anything that you like, God allowed it, because otherwise, he'll make your life absolutely difficult so that you don't even have that. So then it says, number 25, for who can eat or enjoy anything apart from him? The word separate or apart is not there, is without him. In other words, I'll read in the Spanish DHH or any other version, you'll find the same thing. It says, for who can eat or enjoy if it's not for him? That is what it's saying, not next to him. I'll read number 24 and 25 in the Spanish DHH, where I drew the conclusion that there's nothing better than to enjoy food and drink and find satisfaction in work. Then I realized that these pleasures come from the hand of God. For who can eat or enjoy if it's not for him? Exactly. If you enjoy or eat, it is because of him. Because if he wants to, you don't eat or enjoy. And you would have been born in Africa or in Gaza or anywhere else where you have no chance of being happy in anything. And your life will be more of a hell than what you have. So then if you have a life that is sort of good or good at some moments, it is because God wanted for you to have it that way. But look at how Solomon concludes this. He goes against God. Nobody notices this. He gets to see that God is nonsense. God makes no sense. But it's hidden. I'll read it to you. 26. God gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy to those who please him, to those whom he fucking wants. That is of whom he pleases, not is the obedient. No. Is whom he pleases. This one, that one. God gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy to whom he pleases to give them that. But if a sinner becomes wealthy, God takes the wealth away and gives it to those who please him. It doesn't say that. I'll tell you what it says. That also doesn't make sense. There it is. It is very clear. What God does, it makes no sense. That also doesn't make sense. It's like chasing the wind. What God does makes no sense. He is a son of a bitch. He doesn't say that, but I read it. I'll read it to you in the Spanish RV 1960. Last text of Ecclesiastes chapter 2. Ecclesiastes chapter 2, 26, Spanish RV 1960. For God giveth to a man that is good in his sight wisdom and knowledge and joy. So if it pleases him, he gives it to him. And if it doesn't please him to give someone, not through obedience, but it's what he wants. But to the sinner, he giveth travail to gather and to heap up, that he may give it to him that is good before God. This is also vanity. Pardon me? It says very clearly right there. This work that God does, because God is saying that God gives to them who please him, and to those who don't please him, he takes away, and he gives to those that pleases to give him. He makes those who don't please him to work, and then takes the money from that one and gives them to those who please him. And it directly says, this is vanity. This is vanity and vexation of spirit. What God does is dog shit. That is what Solomon's saying. Very good, Solomon. It's just that he hit it very well. This is what God does is dog shit. It's dog shit. Because it's an unfair life, it's a dog shit life, it's an unfair God, it's a dog shit God. That is everything that it says in that phrase, but it's hidden. Since it's hidden, the people read it and they think he's praising God. He's not praising God. He's saying what God is doing makes no sense. It is vanity. It's dog shit. It's dog shit. The life that he gave us is dog shit. I discovered that the life that he gave to humans is dog shit. That is what I discovered. The more wiser I am, the more everything hurts and the more I suffer. So then I dedicate myself to do things that I like, eat, even I get a little fatter, drink, and do an activity that I like. And everything else can fuck off. And God can fuck off to his mother's cunt. Because whomever he wants, he gives things. And the one that's working to obtain him, like, since he doesn't please him, he takes him away and gives him to whoever he wants. It's dog shit, unfair God. That is what Proverbs chapter 226 says. Makes no sense. It is vanity. It is vanity. The work of God is vanity. That's what it's saying. This is vanity and affliction. This is an affliction, vexation of spirit. To see God, what he does is a vexation of spirit. I'll read it to you again. For God gives to a man that please him wisdom, knowledge, and joy. Knowledge and joy. But to the sinner he giveth travail to gather and to heap up, that he may give it to him that is good before God. This is also vanity and vexation of spirit. The work of God is vexation of spirit. The wisest man of them all is telling you. So then before the question that somebody asks that says, is it normal that becoming a part of the eternal truth makes me see this life as worse and more depressing than what I used to see it before? Is it normal that while the more I understand the Bible, I see this existence as worse and unbearable? I asked because before I used to live on worry-free. My salvation was in Christ. The dead were in heaven. I believed in science. Now everything is different. Everything has been a lie and deceit. And now it all depends on us. And the time to wait is unbearable. Perfect. I hope that I have answered that question. But now I will give why we exist. And because we don't exist just so you have a dog shit life. And so that you see everything as ass, and before you didn't see it, that your ideals that you had, I deleted them. That it's no good, that I want a house, I want this, and I want a great company. And it's all dog shit. Why do I even listen to the eternal truth? Why did I find out about this? What for? Solomon, with all his wisdom and riches, he certainly knew one thing, that he was going to die. And that he was going to lose everything. That is what he says. Both the wise and the fool, there's only one end, death. And everything that I worked on is left for others. That is what vanity is. That's why Solomon was against. Solomon didn't have the least hope that he was going to live and be resurrected ever. Absolutely, I tell to you right now. Solomon had no hope of a life later, and he knew that he lived and he would die, and nothing else existed. And elsewhere in his writing, or in Ecclesiastes, he also says, when a man dies, he has no part ever again under the sun. He wrote it clearly. And if a man has no longer any part of what happens under the sun, he knew that he was going to the non-existence forever. Solomon had no hope that somebody would resurrect him, that he would live anywhere, some in heaven or earth or anywhere, nothing. He said when a man dies, his spirit, I don't know if it goes up, goes down, it's like animals. That's it, it's over. You ceased existing. His mind is forgotten, his love is forgotten. You no longer exist. What is called nihilism. You live now and you never again live. And so then if it is so, if you live now and never again, then everything you've done is for naught. With all the effort, the best, the least effort and greatest pleasure. If I have a job, it's not to become a millionaire or to want to be greater and greater. No. To get pleasure, what I do every day, that I don't have to get up once again. No. for what I do every day to give me pleasure, and that every day I enjoy. That is the secret that Solomon discovered. Because you no longer exist ever again, not ever again. So then, why do you want to make an empire for yourself? If you're going to die just like the one that has nothing, so then enjoy every day of things that give you pleasure, not of great efforts. That is the problem of Solomon, that we have a different hope. We have a different mission. We have a different perspective. Because if I knew that this life is now never again exist, why would I be speaking with you? I wouldn't be speaking with you. It makes no sense whatsoever. We have a different perspective, which is this one, Daniel 7:13 through 14, and from Daniel 7:26 through 27 reads as follows. Daniel 7:13 and 14, and then 26 in the Torah Samat. I saw in the night visions, and behold, in the clouds of heaven came one like the Son of Man, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him, and there was given him dominion. Solomon had dominion, yes, glory. Solomon had glory, the best, and kingdom. It was the greatest kingdom that has Israel ever occupied in a map, that of Solomon, and kingdom, that all the nations, languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion. That is a problem. Either it's a dominion that will pass, or it's everlasting. One that passes is torture and pain, and you'll die. A dominion that's eternal, we're talking about something else. His dominion is everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away. In his kingdom, that which shall not be destroyed. One that he does not have to give any of his possessions to anyone. One that will not have a successor, a kingdom forever. Of course, Solomon wanted for that existence to end already, because he knew that he wasn't going to rule forever, that he was going to rule for a moment, and that's it, it's over. We, who are not a type of a Messiah, we are the Messiah, are here to rule forever. And our problem, even if it would seem to be equal to that of Solomon's, this life is dog shit. It starts to change, because now it's a time of transition. Because now it's a time of wait. And what can be unbearable is the wait. But we have to see things differently. Not anymore like Solomon, that makes no sense. Of course, everything that I do makes sense. Everything that I do makes sense if I do it in me and for me. It makes sense because I am preparing to rule forever. Not with material things, but with my wisdom. So then Solomon didn't have that. He didn't have that promise. Solomon did. I'll read on. 26 and 27. And the judgment shall be celebrated afterwards, so that the power be taken away. We celebrated the judgment and be destroyed until the end, and that the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given unto the people. At first it said the Son of Man, and now it says the people of the saints of the Most High. The people of those that are apart from the Most High, of the people that set themselves apart from the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, which means eternal, without an end, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and unto him, that kingdom, shall all dominions serve and obey him. So then, the destiny is written. The end is inevitable. The end of Solomon was that he was going to leave, stop being the king of Israel forever. And never again would he be the king of Israel. And he starts to write something in his projection, because he was very wise, so that the one that has wisdom similar to grasp. He says, I was the king of Israel. And I'll tell you why he said, I was the king of Israel. Because he saw his projection and he said, now I am, but I am no longer being so and I won't ever be so. When I die, I will never again be the king of anything. I was the king of Israel. We shall be kings forever. So then the point of view of Solomon, which is the projection of being a Messiah, says, wow, now I have everything, a kingdom and everything, and I will perish. And it'll end. We who are the Messiah, now we don't have a kingdom. We don't have silver. We don't have gold. We don't have titles. We don't have a place where to rule. We don't have slaves. I mean, using the words he uses, we don't have female slaves. We don't have concubines. We don't have orchards, gardens, mansions. We don't have shit. But the end is to have that and a lot more. So then he comes from having it all and says, I'm going to lose it all. And we come who don't have dog shit or anything. We say we have everything to earn, everything to gain. So then there's my answer. Life, even if it's dog shit, is brilliant. Because our future is brilliant. Not that of Solomon's. It was dog shit. But we look from nothing itself to a brilliant future. Solomon looks from a brilliant present to nothing itself. And he says, that's where I'm headed. And I disappear. We don't have shit. Nothing itself. Because nothing, not power, government, anything, they all rule over us. We're prostitutes. We give ourselves to anyone for a payment. How much do you pay me? I'll do that, from cleaning, working, whatever. Nothing. It doesn't give us pleasure to work for others, of course not. But our future, our destiny, is written. And it's an end that's brilliant. And I don't understand why the people leave. Because you really have to be an ass to leave. I'm talking about a donkey to leave. Because the eternal truth offers you something that never has anybody offered, out of nothing to the maximum and for all eternity. That alone is what we have to keep in our mind, so that when we have those thoughts of saying, what a dog shit world, I have to continue, just look at the end. Look at the end. Because we are in nothing itself, and you're right. It is depressing, it's dog shit. We cannot be any worse. We don't have anything. We suffer. We don't have what we want. We don't have the slaves, not the concubines or the mansions. We don't have anything. We don't have anything. But our end is brutal. Just like that brutal that you cannot imagine. That's a lot better than to have it all and to say, I'm going to nothing itself. That is the problem of Solomon, because he was a guy, a type, and we're the antitype. What's real? He was the figure. We are those who are going to rule the world. And speaking about ruling the world, Proverbs chapter 8 speaks about something absolutely marvelous. 22. What is it referring to? What do the religions interpret that read the scriptures? Does anyone really understand this? Proverbs 8:22. Yahweh possessed me in the beginning, before his works of old. Yahweh possessed me in the beginning of his way before his works. The Jews say that all the wisdom of which is spoken of in the book of Proverbs is the Torah. And in this case, when it says that Yahweh possessed the Torah in the beginning before the creation, before his works, the Jews say the Torah antecedes the creation because the Torah was written by God himself before beginning to create anything, as it is explained here. Boys, I don't want to call you out again. Next time, I'll sit you over there. I get distracted if I see you there struggling. I know it's long. It's been 2 hours. The chickens are going to play. I hope they lose right away. What are we going to eat today? What are we going to celebrate today in Brenda's birthday? That's a little behind. What are we going to celebrate with? Honduran tacos. Oh, they're fried. We got to fry them, or are they fried? Oh, okay. Oh, they're good. And they have meat? Chicken? Lots of chicken. There's no cows. Just a few cows. Just a few cows. So chicken, that goes with a spicy sauce? They don't make it like that in Honduras? They don't eat spicy? Oh, like tapatio? But they're not too spicy. Okay. Oh, wow. So then that goes with puree, rice, what? Oh. So then you serve that in a plate, right? Oh, now I want to eat. What did Solomon said? That the only thing that you enjoy, I enjoy my work of speaking. I love it. I did all types of professions. To top it off, I have the ability of learning whatever. But what I like the most is to speak. You know this. I don't do this with pain. I do this with pleasure. No one hurt you. Any word of yours, Leslie? Let's see. Is the microphone working? I don't know. Whatever. Hello, friends. Shabbat Shalom. Here am I. I've been listening to this study that has been fabulous, answering a question that was very interesting, and we spoke way too much this morning about it, commenting about how we saw the situation, and yes, actually, how difficult it is to live this life with so many things around. So then, if it's not enemies or people that are against of how we think, it is the situation, it is work, it is the frustration that we cannot do everything we want, all our wishes that we have that we cannot make true, so then it's difficult for everyone. But it is comforting when we all believe in the same thing, and when we have friends that join us in the same idea, the same ideals, so then that gives us comfort, the few. In other words, this morning, Christian was saying the few people that love us and give us love, those are the ones that have to have all of our focus. And to focus and reward them with everything they give us, given to them, which are precisely those who want to join us. And then all the rest is just extra, whatever. Let it be on the side of the path. We have to continue to live in the best way possible that gives us pleasure what we do, and to look at least in a way that what's positive and was comforting, and always the minor details of the younger ones of the moment that could be, I don't know, to drink wine together or chat or a board game or a sport, or just a walk on the park that gives us pleasure, and at least you have that moment, right? In a moment of pleasure in some way. And not to focus so much on the ugly things, although it is okay that we're completely aware, as they say in English, conscious, awoke, that lies exist, that they're deceiving you, and that things are not as they present themselves. So then, well, those are my words of today. Christian. Many thanks. It's always beautiful to hear your voice. Like I've always told you what we spoke of this morning. Yahweh possessed me in the beginning. The Jews say Yahweh. Before doing anything, he wrote the Torah. And based on the Torah, he did everything. That's why the Torah. Later, he gave it and blah, blah, blah. And they say a whole bunch of stupid shit, but in certain things, since just like the language is written, they are right in that it's not that it was actually written, but that it was in the mind of the Creator. The word is so clear. Yahweh possessed me in the beginning. Possess, to possess, I know that other versions says that created me. For example, in the Serafino Sejo, it says Yahweh created me at the beginning of his actions, before his works of old. In the Jerusalem, it says Yahweh created me first of his path. Yahweh created me first. Like the first fruits, I love that word, the first fruit of his path before his oldest works. But it's not that Yahweh created me. That's fine. But actually, he possessed me. And to possess me, well, before explaining what it means, what do the Christians say about this? Well, the Christians evidently see their Jesus Christ here. They see Jesus. Not completely clear, because they cannot reconcile the idea that in some point in time Jesus did not exist. So then here, this clearly says that at some point in time he did not exist, that Yahweh brought him to existence. This wisdom. We're talking about wisdom. Yahweh possessed me in the beginning, from old, before his works. So then they cannot reconcile the idea that Jesus, that they understand that it's a co-eternal, coexistent being with God, that they refer to him as something that God begat him, created him, idealized him, possessed him before beginning the creation. But they have to accept clearly that Paul says that Christ is the power of God and wisdom of God. Christ, the wisdom of God. So then they have nothing else than to say, yes, the wisdom of God is Christ. So then he is talking about Christ, but not so literal, because here it says that he was born. It says that he was idealized in the mind of the Creator. So then it's like a projection of Christ. And others say, the fewer, that it's only talking about wisdom in general. It's any type of wisdom when you do things correctly, that things are going good in every aspect of life. And which of all that is it? None of those. There's not the Torah. It's not Jesus of Nazareth. And it's not the regular wisdom. It's not that. Yahweh possessed me in the beginning. To possess is not a sexual act in this case, nor is it an act of being an owner in this my possession. No. Pardon? A property. It is not that. And the aspect as the way it was, to possess is that it is idealized in the mind. In order for you to understand this magnificent wisdom that's implicit in this story, I believe that Solomon was in an absolute trance to write this, because he hasn't the fucking least idea of what he was writing. He has no way of knowing, and he demonstrated it. But he's like in trance, and he wrote directly what Yahweh wanted for him to write. Imagine a writer. Let's imagine, so you have this very clearly. The writer who wrote Superman. We know that he's a Jew. Superman actually represents the Jewish Messiah. But taking that out, I use him because we all know what Superman is. So then, all the things that Superman went through, if you know the story, you know that Superman, his parents lived in a planet that's called Krypton. And then that Krypton, there were problems, war, and a destruction. I don't know what happened. What was happening? It was going to be destroyed completely. So then his parents place Superman in a capsule and they send him to Earth. They send him there because that planet's going to be destroyed. So then the story begins that the parents send him that and blah blah blah. And Superman is sent to Earth like a Jesus per se. And some farmers find him and they upbring him and blah blah blah, and the story continues. And the superhero of Superman, precisely here we have Uriel is modeling the shirt of Superman, and I am modeling one of Halloween, that one that I showed you, that we went to the concert, that it says Beast in Black, special featuring. It says I'm going to wear the Halloween one since we're going to speak about that the earth is hell and all the rest. Halloween fits well. So then a writer, before even stopping to write, he already knows it. He creates in his mind, the first thing is Superman. The first thing he creates, Superman. Superman has been born already. He didn't write one sole word, but in his mind he possessed the word and the idea of Superman. And everything he's about to write about his parents before he's born, his adventures and his end and his girlfriends and this and that. How's he going to save the world and all? What do you call the thieves? The ones that are against the villains. The villains that are want to take possession of the world against him. All that is a whole mixture around it. But what was the first thing that was it? Superman. Superman. Then later we'll fix everything else. We'll make his parents, like how he was brought up, the farmers that will bring him up, his childhood, his girlfriends, that he falls in love, and that he's going to be Clark Kent to hide himself from the human community, for them to not notice that he's a superhero, so then his name is Clark Kent. All that is added. But what is that the writer possessed before anything existed? Superman. And if it's the same writer, let's suppose it isn't so, but let's suppose he wrote Batman also. It's the same thing. The same thing. Who's Batman? His parents that were killed. They killed his parents and precisely before him, and he was left without parents. Blah blah blah. You know the story of Batman. And then someday maybe he says, maybe I'll do, between Batman and Superman, two stories, because we have to idealize it in the mind. When in this that we're reading, which is phenomenal, it says Yahweh possessed me in the beginning, already from old before his works. What is he speaking in the wisdom? What is the wisdom? The Jews say the Torah, the Christians say it is Christ. And what actually is it? You already know what it is. Wisdom is a representation of a new God, which is the owner of the earth. And why is it written that way? Because the earth was made for him. Modeled and worked for 6,000 years for him. And when he said he, it's a group of people. It is an idea. It is a people, per se. A people. It's a group of people that make up an entity. That entity is the end of the creation. The creation is not given unto the Messiah, because Yahweh the Creator was tired, nor because he's about to die, nor does he want to sell it, and he's sick and tired. No, it isn't so. It isn't so. The creation was made for and by the Messiah. The end goal, the first thing that he idealized, was the Messiah. And then later he created a whole kingdom for the Messiah. But the earth exists with everything that it contains only for and for the Messiah. The Messiah is not a last resource of help to see if it works because I'm sick and tired. and I'll give this dog shit earth. No, 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 no. The creation itself is everything. It's all an environment. Well, how do you say environment in Spanish? It's an environment with a special terrain so that the Messiah can reign, nothing else. It was not the Messiah created for the earth and the human beings. No. The human beings and the earth were created for the Messiah. Just like when the writer of Superman later wrote everything around and for Superman, but the first thing he said, I want to do this. Someone with the name Superman. And later I'll write everything else, everything that he's going to develop in. Yahweh, the first thing that he imagined was the Messiah. And he said, what do I do so as to give to what my idea of a Messiah, to give him a place to live, to reign forever? Well, I have to create his parents, which are from Adam and Eve, a whole group of people where he can rule, because I am converting him in a king or kings. So then I have to do a whole kingdom, a whole chaos, completely huge chaos, for the presence of a Messiah to be necessary, because I'm doing everything for the Messiah, only for the Messiah. The Messiah doesn't earn this creation for his conduct. No, the creation exists for him and by the Messiah, because the Messiah antecedes any creation. If it weren't because of the Messiah, the creation would not exist, because the original idea is Messiah. If Superman does not exist in the mind of the creator, the father of Superman, the mother, the villains, the girlfriend of Superman, no one exists. It's all based on Superman. This whole human existence for 6,000 years of terror that Solomon says, even the existence Solomon is for and by the Messiah, nothing else, or else Solomon makes no sense for him to exist. The prophets, the religions, it's all by and for the Messiah, because Yahweh possessed me in the beginning. Yahweh possessed me in the beginning, before his works. Before anything existed, the possession of Yahweh, the idea of Yahweh, was wisdom, which is a synonym of the Messiah. So that this chapter is so fundamental to understand that what we aspire to is actually the owner and motive, the leitmotif of this creation. Yahweh didn't do it for him at all. Yahweh created a whole surrounding. He placed himself as God and created other gods. Maybe he had fun with that. He created every God that exists in human beings. He created in him. He created a whole bunch of lies that he created in the surrounding, along with the villains in that he guided for the Messiah. Because Yahweh, what his idea was the Messiah, and he's going to do a whole surrounding for him to enjoy it forever. Instead of taking many chapters, it took 6,000 years. Yahweh possessed me in the beginning, already from old, before his works. That about he possessed me in the beginning was in his mind and his design. The motive of the creation, we can see that it's a beginning. The Bible also utilizes to teach us and to give us the clues to understand this. I've explained this already one time, but let's go to Hebrews 7, 9 through 10. Hebrews 7, 9 through 10. Spanish RV 1960, and he's talking about Melchizedek. And it's talking about how it was Abraham, and he gave him the tithes to Melchizedek. And for saying it so, there it is, per se, a way of saying so that it is understood. In Abraham, he also, Levi also paid the tithes. Who was Levi? Well, he had a son that was the name Isaac, and Isaac had a son whose name was Jacob, and Jacob had a name whose Levi, and Levi had children that were of the tribe of Levi, which was those who were receiving the tithe. So then, by Abraham paying, Levi also paid, who receives the tithes, because he was still in the loins of his father when Melchizedek went out to meet him. So then, per se, Levi was possessed, or Abraham possessed Levi. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because by Levi paying, which were 4 generations later, or even more than all of the priesthood of Levi, by Abraham paying, they were possessed in Abraham. When Yahweh says, or wisdom says, Yahweh possessed me in the beginning, it means that the main idea of the creation is wisdom. And wisdom is not the wisdom. It makes no sense. What wisdom is? We're like, no. Wisdom is another name of the Messiah, and which I could say is the spirit of LVE, which is the Messiah. It's not one sole person. It is what will compose the Messiah forever. That nucleus of people, Yahweh said, to that will I give all the earth to. And in that is the motive that he thought of first in the Messiah. Let's go to Revelations 3. Revelation is a Messiah only for the Messiah. That's why no one understands. This is the revelation that God gave unto the Messiah through John. So then, this message is revelation. No one else can understand it. They can read it, but they'll never understand it, because it's a revelation that Yahweh, or a revelation that Yahweh gives to the Messiah. The Revelation 3:14 says, "And unto the angel of the church of Laodiceans write, these things saith the Amen." Amen is let it be so. The righteous witness and true, the beginning of the creation of God. This, the Adventists always explained it in many different ways to say, it doesn't mean that, because supposedly the Amen, the righteous witness, means Jesus. Jesus is speaking. It's Jesus speaking for the Adventists. It's not for them, the book, but Jesus is speaking. And he's speaking to 7 churches. So then he's speaking to the churches that were going to come according to them in different times of the world. So then the church of the Laodiceans, he's speaking precisely. Behold, the Amen, the righteous witness, which is the last church, that Amen, it says it's another name of Jesus, the righteous witness. There's no more righteous and faithful witness. It was Jesus. Jesus was the father of lies. Of course, Jesus was a liar. Of course so. From whenever he says, "My Father that's in heaven," he was lying. When he would pray, doing a whole show, he was lying. Absolutely lying. From the moment that he said, "I am the Son of God," he was lying. He was no son of God. He was a son of a bitch, which was Yahweh in person. That he was. It was Yahweh in the flesh, who said he was the Son of God. That's a lie. So then he's not the righteous witness and faithful. It's not the mission of Yahweh. Yahweh created this whole surrender. It's a movie. It's a book. That's why I don't get angry against Yahweh. I insult him because he knows that I'm insulting the figure that he showed in this world. It's not the true being that someday we'll know. No. It is the face that he showed as a part of an actor. Since we're all actors, he's also an actor. He showed himself as God. The God. He's a son of a bitch. An actual son of a bitch. And he made it right for us to blame him. No one understands us. We do. Completely. That's why it's not that we hate the being behind the mask. No. The mask, which is part of this actor, we have the actor who's going to create, we have the creators and the earth, but he is still a part of the acting. He's not Yahweh, and everything that we know of him, the true God behind Yahweh, it's not. I want you to make a difference so then when I insult this son of a bitch, he loves it. Because he knows that I'm not insulting the being behind him because I don't know him. It is the mask and the acting that he placed on this earth. He came, showed us it's all a scene. This all has been a scene of a creator and the rest of the actors that he's been acting to give him all this after the scene and to give it to the Messiah. And he tells the Messiah, it's do whatever you want. It's yours forever. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. For those who understand. So then, the let it be so, it isn't so, the one that came. The faithful and true witness is not. So then who's he speaking of? Of course. This is something else. Who's speaking here? He tells you who's here. Number 22. He says that he that hath ears, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. The Spirit is the one that's speaking, and the Spirit is the one that speaketh. That is the Spirit. My words are a spirit and they are life. The spirit of the prophecies, all the things that you understand what the Spirit is. So then, that is the faithful witness, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of creation of God. And that is where we understand that the beginning of the creation of God is the motive. What is the beginning of creation? The Messiah. Why did God create the earth? Because of the Messiah. He created it for him. No, he never created it for him. He created it for the Messiah. He doesn't care about he doesn't care in ruling. He never thought about ruling it. We don't even know who God is. It's the mask that he showed us that made himself called Yahweh. So then, it was never in his mind to rule it. He could care less to even be worshipped. That is only a part of the game that he fabricated for the Messiah. So then, the end and the beginning of this creation is the Messiah. The beginning of the creation of God says this, I know thy works, and well, you already know this whole message, but I'll read it again. I know thy works, that you're not cold or hot. I wish you were hot or cold, but since you're lukewarm, I shall spew ye out. Careful is what the Spirit says, because it says, I am rich, and I have grown rich. Oh, I've learned so much. Now I am rich, and I have no lack of anything. I don't need of listening to you at all. Absolutely. And that's why the people leave. Some because of that, others because they can't stand it. And I have no lack of anything, and you don't know that you're miserable, poor, blind, and naked. Therefore, I advise you that of me, not that of the trial, not of Moses, not of Yahweh, of the Spirit that's speaking to you. I advise you that of me you buy refined gold. What is that? It is the wisdom that I give you, so that you're rich, and white robes to dress you with, and that your nakedness be not discovered. And anoint your eyes with oil, that you may see. I reprove and punish everyone that I love. Be therefore jealous and repent. Behold, I am at the door, and I call. If anyone heareth my voice and openeth the door, watches the videos, opens his laptop, his phone, on the Shabbats, and hears me, I shall enter into him, and dine with him, and he with me. He that overcometh, I shall let him to sit with me in my throne, just like I have overcome and have sat with my Father in his throne, and no longer with his Father, but in what the Father occupied the throne, which is God of the earth. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. But the most important thing of all this is that it says that he's the beginning of the creation of God. The beginning of the creation of God. What does that text say? Yahweh possessed being the beginning. From old, before his works. And the Messiah is the beginning of the creation of God. I want you to understand that the Messiah is the beginning of the creation of God. And this text says, Yahweh possessed me in the beginning, from old before his works. 2. Eternally I had the kingship. Eternally I had it. Since I was conceived, it was eternally to rule. But of course, since somebody conceived Superman was to be a superhero, not a super idiot, but a superhero. Eternally, he was the superhero because I am conceiving a superhero. What does the wisdom say? Eternally, I had the kingship. What does that mean? Eternally, I had the kingdom. I had it eternally. Eternally doesn't mean backwards of something that did not exist, but forward. Like the government that the Son of Man receives, eternal it is. It's eternal. It doesn't mean eternal backwards. That's not what the word says. It says eternal. It means that it has no end. Not that it doesn't have a beginning, but it has no end. So then, wisdom says, Yahweh possessed me in the beginning, before his works. Eternally, I was set up from everlasting from the beginning. He says, since when it started? From the beginning, before the earth. Before the earth were created. This is the earth, and it's flat, very flat. Before the earth were created, the Messiah existed. He existed consciously? No. No. He existed in the mind of the Creator. And he was the last thing that he was going to create. Everything that he created it in base for and by the Messiah. Nothing of this would exist if it weren't because he idealized first the Messiah. Because it's all made for the Messiah. That's why it's so important. This text is, it is the priority that the Messiah has before everything. He owns everything. Of course, Solomon never dreamed with that. That's why he was embittered. He says, I have it now, we'll never again have it. But the Messiah was created to rule eternally. And everything that was created was for him. For him. All of the chaos in this world is for him to fix it, to have fun. He says, not going to give him a perfect world, but I'm going to give him a whole chaos, because or else he's not going to feel like he works. I have given him a complete chaos. Complete chaos. That's excellent. Spectacular. Because I understand it. How our gift is. Yahweh possessed me in the beginning, already from old, before his work. Before his most ancient works. The Messiah says, I am the Amen, the everlasting, the beginning of the creation of God. The beginning of the creation of God. Yahweh possessed me in the beginning. The beginning of the creation of God. What's priority number one? Eternally I was set up. From the beginning. Since when? From the beginning. Before the earth. From the beginning, before the earth. And another clue, magnificent. It says, eternally I was set up. We read this directly from the Messiah, Isaiah 9, 6 through 7. Says, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. His royalty over his... Who's he talking about? It's the Messiah. There's no doubt about it. For a son is given unto us, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. And what's it say? Eternally I had the government. And if eternally I was set up, it says the wisdom. The wisdom is that child that is given unto us. And a son is given unto us, and the government is upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Almighty God, Everlasting Father, the Everlasting Father, Mighty God. What's the wisdom going to be called? Mighty God, the new God. It's more than clear. It's not talking about wisdom. It's not talking about the Torah. Who had the government eternally? Because a child is born unto us, and a son is given unto us, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. The increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, eternal, and upon the throne of David, and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice, from henceforth even forever. The zeal of Yahweh of hosts will perform this. And why does Yahweh do this? Because Yahweh did all of the creation for that child, who has the government upon his shoulder, whose name is called Mighty God, Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace, of justice, of judgment. There's no doubt about it, of what we are speaking here. It is incredibly marvelous. Yahweh possessed me in the beginning, already from old before his works. Eternally I had the government from the beginning, before the earth. Before the earth! Before the abysses I was begotten, or conceived. The word can be read clearly as conceived, or begotten. Where was she conceived in the mind? Before making the abysses, which are the oceans, he had me. The depths were made for me. Before the fountains of the depths, before the mountains were formed, before the hills I had been brought forth. Of course, if I am the motive to do that, to make the oceans, the mountains, the earth, or else it would make no sense to do anything. He must have his own earth, completely different than us, and does whatever he wants. But this was all for the Messiah. He had not even created the earth yet, or the field, nor the beginning of the dust of the world, just so that it's clear. Not even the least particle of the dust of the world he had made. When he was forming the heavens, there I was. I don't think that we were conscious. No. It was the end. It was the end. The end goal of all this, the Messiah. When I was forming the heavens, there I was. I already existed. When he was setting up the circle in the face of the depth, that's fascinating. We'll see that we're talking about the flat earth. When he affirmed the heavens above, and when he set up the fountains of the abyss, and when he would tell the waters that they should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth, there I was with him setting everything up. It says, but we existed consciously. No. He enjoyed and understand this. Yahweh enjoyed what he did, because he enjoyed the concept that he had already been created. We had already been created. When was Superman created? When it was created in the mind of the guy, or when he sold the books and they made the movie? And when you found out that Superman existed, when does the existence of Superman begin? When? The day that he said, I'm going to create a guy by the name of Superman. That's where he existed. That's where he existed. So then he was with him. And were all the episodes that he was creating in the... And I say Superman like whomever, any book. But out of the main actor, that is born first. And then later the guy writes, but based on that, it's like that accompanies him. And it is his delight. He helps him because you say, what would Superman do? He would do this. I'm going to make a villain with these characteristics, so that he makes an effort, so that he shows that he has lasers in his eyes, so that he shows that with his breath he can freeze a place, so that he shows that he can pick up a whole train and save all the passengers, but to demonstrate that how to create a villain, a situation. So then he rejoices in Superman, and Superman has not existed yet, because he's creating the book. He's making the book. Do you understand?
Es exactamente el
It's
mismo
exactly the
concepto.
same concept.
Cuando afirmaba los cielos
When
arriba,
I was
cuando
setting up the
afirmaba
heavens
los fuertes
above
abismos,
in the
cuando
fountains
ponía en
of
mar su
the
estatuto
depth,
para que las aguas no traspasasen sus mandamientos, cuando
and that
establecía
the
los
water should not
fundamentos de
pass
la
the
tierra,
commandment, when
con
he
él
appointed the
estaba
foundation of those there, I was with him
gozándolo
as one brought
todo.
up with him, and I
Y
was
era su
in
delicia
delight,
de
his
día en
delight,
día,
rejoicing
teniendo
always
era
before.
su
He was his
delicia.
delight.
Yahweh
Yahweh has only one delight in this world, which is the Messiah.
Pero
But
también
also,
nos hace
he makes
sufrir
us
como un hijo de
suffer like a son of a bitch that he is. That's why Boca lost. That's why the chickens won.
Por eso yo
That's
quiero
why I want for the fucking chickens to lose today, and we'll see what happens.
si me quiere amargar
If
la
he
vida,
wants to make my life better, he'll make it better. But I understand that it's part of the game. It's part of the game. Because in the end of it all, he's going to give me everything that's part of the game. It's written. It is written. The destiny is written. It's inevitable, the end.
con él
With
estaba
him,
yo
I was
ordenándolo
with him
todo.
setting everything up.
Y era
And I
su
was his
delicia
delight
de día en
day
día.
by day. Yahweh rejoiced in what was going to happen 6,000 years later.
Teniendo solaz delante de
And
él en
rejoicing
todo
always before
tiempo.
him.
Me
I
regocijo
rejoice
en
in
la
the
parte
habitable
habitable
part
de
of the
la
earth.
tierra. El
The,
Mesías
the true
verdadero,
Messiah,
el
the
dueño
owner of
de todo.
everything.
Claro,
Of course, he's going to say,
yo no le doy
I
mucha
don't really
importancia
care.
ni al
Not the
mar, ni a
sea
la
or the
tierra.
earth.
Una, porque
First
me
of
voy a
all, I'm
agrandar.
going to make it bigger.
Me
They
entregaron
gave me
esto y
this,
me dieron
and they gave me
poder
power to make it
agrandarlo. Lo voy a
bigger.
agrandar
I'm going
y
to make it
tengo que
bigger. I have to make it
agrandar
bigger
porque
because
no
we're not going to
para
fit
acá.
here.
Y tengo otra
And I have a
herramienta
different mind.
me dio las
He gave me the
herramientas,
tools. I
Yahweh me
will
va a dar
give him
las
the
herramientas
tools
para
to make
agrandar
everything
todo.
bigger.
Pero
But of
claro,
course,
no
he
ama
doesn't
lo
love
que es la
what the
tierra
earth is inanimmately.
¿Qué
What
dice
does the
el
Messiah
Mesías?
say?
Me
I
regocijo
rejoice
en la
in the
parte
habitable
habitable de
part
su
of his
tierra.
earth.
La
The
parte
part that's
habitable.
habitable.
¿Por qué
Why
la
the
parte
habitable
habitable?
part?
Porque ahí
Because that's
están
where
los
the
seres
humans
humanos.
are.
Y mis
And my
delicias,
delights,
mi
my
placer,
pleasure
son
are
con
with the
los
sons
hijos
of
de los
men.
hombres.
Only
Solamente
a
los
Messiah
hijos
can
podrán
speak
hacer
that way.
eso. Después están los otros
And
hijos
the
de
other
Dios
sons of
que
bitches that say,
volvemos al
let's
planeta
save
que
the
nos salvamos
planet,
nosotros.
let's save this and that, the
El
environment.
Al
And the
Mesías
Messiah
dice,
says,
para
well, no, hold on,
lo
hold
único que
on.
importa
The
son
only
los seres
thing that
humanos.
we care about is human
Salvemos al
beings.
planeta.
As long as that
No
matter.
quiero, voy a
Forget the
agrandar, lo voy a
planet, I'll
cambiar.
make it bigger, change it.
Me regocijo en la parte habitable
I
de
rejoice in the
su
habitable
tierra.
part of his
Y
earth,
mis
and my
delicias
delight
son
are
con
with the
los
sons
hijos
of
de los
men.
hombres. Ahora pues, hijos,
Now therefore
oídme,
hearken unto me,
y bienaventurados
and
los
blessed
que
are
guardan
they
mis
that keep my
caminos.
ways.
Atended
Hear
mi consejo
instruction
y
and
sed
be
sabios,
wise,
y
and
no lo
refuse not.
despreciéis.
Blessed
Bienaventurado
is the
el
man that heareth me,
velando
watching
en
daily
puertas
at my
de mi
gates,
casa,
waiting
aguardando
at the posts
postes
of my
de
door.
puertas.
For
Porque
whoso
el que
findeth
me
me
hallará
findeth
la vida,
life,
y
and shall
alcanzará
obtain
el
favor of Yahweh.
Tengo más para leer. Pero
There's more to
yo creo
read,
que
but I
por
think
hoy
I'm going to leave you there.
tengo más
I have
para
more to
leer
read.
lo que Pablo
What Paul
dice
says
ahí.
about this.
Está bien, se los leo.
I'll read it to you later because I want to review it next Shabbat.
Todo esto se tiene que
This
grabar.
has to be recorded.
El Mesías
The Messiah
es el motivo
is the
de la
motive of the
creación.
creation itself.
No habría
There would be
tierra,
no earth,
no habría
there would be no
personas
people
a quienes
whom to
salvar.
save,
No habría
there would be no
villanos
villains
a quienes
whom
encerrar
to
y castigar.
punish,
No habría
there wouldn't
buenos
be
a
good
quien
people whom to
salvar.
save,
No habría
there
problemas
wouldn't be
que
problems to
solucionar
solve
si no
if
fuera
it weren't
por el
because of the
Mesías.
Messiah.
Porque
Because
el
the
Mesías
Messiah
es la
is
razón
the
misma de
reason
que
itself
Dios
of
creó
why
el mundo.
God created the earth.
Se ideó un Mesías y
He
dijo,
had the
"Oye,
idea of a
voy a
Messiah
hacer
and he said, I'm going to make a kingdom,
y le tomó el
and it
reinado
took the kingdom to
perfeccionarlo
perfect
a su
it to
nivel
his level that he
de
wants
6,000
6,000 years.
Y 6,000
And
años
6,000
para
years
Dios
for
no es
God
mucho
is not a long
tiempo,
time,
pero era lo
but is what he
era lo que él
needed
necesitaba para tener esta
to have this
cantidad
whole
de
quantity of
personas
people,
y darles,
to give them
el tiempo suficiente
enough time
para que su
so that their
Mesías
Messiah
madure,
to mature,
tome
to
conciencia
become
de esto,
conscious of
se dé
this, to
cuenta
notice
de que
that
él
he
es el
is
motivo
the
único
motive
de la
itself of
creación
creation,
y que todo
and
fue
that
un
it's
regalo
all
para
a
él
gift for him,
y que
and that
espere
he can wait
el
for the
momento
moment
cuando él lo
when he
llame
calls him
y le
and
diga,
tells him,
"Te doy
here, I
dominio,
give you dominion,
todo
glory, and
todo
kingdom. It's all yours.
todo
All
esto lo
this, I
hice
did
para
it for
ti."
you.
Ya entendiste,
You've understood in Proverbs already.
yo te
I
poseía
possessed you
desde
since the beginning,
ya de antiguo,
already from
antes de todas mis
old,
obras.
before all my works. Oh, you were always with me. You were always my delight. Before I even made the abysses.
tenía a
I
todas
had you before me.
Tú eras mi
You were my
motivo
motive
para que yo
for me to
creara
create
la
this
tierra,
earth,
las
the
montañas,
mountains,
el
the
océano,
ocean,
para que haga las
so that
reglas
I make the
físicas,
physical
que el mar
rules
no
that
pase
the
su
sea does not go
su
past its
stop,
stop
su parada y no
and to
inunde.
not
Para que puedas vivir y puedas
flood,
vivir en
and
tu
so that you can live in
reinado
your
bien.
kingdom well.
Siempre estuviste en
You
mi
were
mente.
always in my
Es
mind.
más, eras
In
mi
fact, you were my
delicia.
delight.
Porque si no hubiera
Because
sido mi
if
motivo
you had not
de
been my motive of
tenerte
having you
conmigo,
with me,
poseído,
possessed,
no hubiera hecho
I would
nada.
not have made anything.
Todo lo que hice fue para
Everything
ti.
that I made for you was for you.
Yo no estoy abandonando
I'm
la
not
tierra.
abandoning the earth.
La tierra te
The
la
earth,
preparé
I
para
prepared it
ti.
for you.
La
The
tierra
earth,
la
I
diseñé
designed it
para
for
ti.
you.
La
The
tierra
earth
es
is
tuya.
yours.
Desde el mismo
From the very
principio.
beginning.
Eternamente fue
Eternally
tuya.
was yours.
Eternamente
Eternally
fue
was
tu
yours.
principado y tu poder. la
Kingship and
tierra.
power.
Porque la
The earth
tierra la
was
hice
because
para ti.
I made the earth
Antes te
for
hice
you
a ti.
before I made you.
Tenía que
I
hacer
had to
la
make the
tierra
earth,
y ahora
and
te
now I
la
give it to you.
Estamos en otra
We're in a
posición
different
que
position than
Salomón
Solomon's.
tenía todo.
Solomon had everything.
Todo lo que un
Everything that a
hombre
man could
puede
desire.
desear. Y sabía
And he
que
knew
estaba
that he was
perdido.
losing it.
Y lo
And he lost it.
Nosotros,
We,
que somos
who are
el motivo
the
de la
motive of this
creación,
creation,
sabemos que toda
we
esta
know that this whole
creación
creation is ours.
que fue hecha
That it was
por
made for
nosotros,
us.
no entremos
Let us not enter
en el
into the
engaño
deceit
de
that
querer
we want to
insertarnos en
insert
el
ourselves
sistema.
in the system
Porque nosotros
because
estamos
we
superior
are
al
superior to the system.
sistema.
It is
difícil
difficult
esperar, es
to
difícil.
wait. It is difficult to wait.
Tenemos que tener paciencia.
We have to be patient.
Estamos
We are
desarrollando
developing the
paciencia.
patience.
Pero
But
todo
all this,
con todos los
with all the deceit, is ours.
siempre
It was always ours.
fue creado
It was
por
created by us.
fue
It was
creado
created
para
for
nosotros.
us.
Salmo 78,
Psalm 78, 1 through 2.
Oh, pueblo
O my
mío,
people,
escucha mis
hear my
enseñanzas.
teachings.
Abre
Open
tus
your
oídos
ears
para
unto what I say.
porque te hablaré
For I
por
shall
medio
speak
de
unto
una
thee
parábola.
by means of a parable. I shall
Lecciones
teach you
escondidas
hidden
de
things
nuestro
of our past.
Nace
A flower is born.
todo
Every day the sun comes out.
de vez
Every
en
now and
cuando
then you hear that voice
como
as of a
cantos
delicious
de
bread
cantar
to sing
en los
in the
altos
balconies of the mind
con las
with the
chicharras,
cicadas.
pero a la
But in
vez
turn,
existe un
there
transformador
exists a transformer
que se consume
that
lo mejor
consumes
que
the best that you have, that throws you back, that demands more and more, and there comes a point in which you no longer want. Suck at the liberty's breast, you will always carry her within the heart.
te puede
They may corrupt you, you may even forget, but she is always there.
Ayer soñé
Yesterday I had a dream with the hungry, the crazies, those who left,
los que están
those who are in prison.
hoy de
Today I awoke singing this song, which has been written time ago, before
de la
the
tierra
earth,
fue
this song was written.
y
And it is necessary,
recordar
remind you of it, sing it to you one more time. The destiny is written. The end is inevitable.
¿Cuándo fue escrito
When
el
was the
destino?
destiny written?
Yahweh
Yahweh
me
possessed me
en
in the beginning,
antes de
before his works.
ahí fue
That
escrito
is where the destiny was written.
el
The
final.
end is inevitable.
Dios,
God, God,
la sabiduría,
wisdom,
el verdadero
the true
Dios,
God is Argentinian.
sean
Let
eternos,
the laurels be eternal that we knew how to achieve. Crowned with glory, let us live. Or we swear with glory to die.
Semper
Semper Fi. Hallelujah to every one of you. Let's go, LVE, which is wisdom,
que es el motivo
the motive
de la
of creation.
de Dios. Si entendí,
If you understood this video,
si sos eso
if
que
you're
se
that
siente para el orto,
which you feel like ass,
para el culo,
you feel like ass,
para el
just like ass.
que ves que esta tierra es
You
una
see that this
mierda,
earth is dog shit, and you see that this life is dog shit,
entonces ponemos
then give us a like
y entonces comentamos.
and comment this video. And if this helps you in anything to see a different vision, because even if life is dog shit, if it's all dog shit, we are the owners of it. And that already changes in the mind to say, this dog shit is what I'll inherit. Yeah, it's mine. It's mine from the very beginning. In fact, it was created for me. So then this whole chaos is beautiful to fix. So beautiful to fix. And it's ours. It's been ours. And will be ours forever. Let's go, the eternal truth. Let's go, Boca. On Sunday, we have to win. Unless Yahweh, the greatest son of a bitch of anything, does everything against us. We have to win on Tuesday. And today, the chickens, they should lose. Hallelujah to every one of you. We shall meet again next Shabbat. Remember that tomorrow the moon comes out. Let's go out and look for the moon. And we enter into the second month. And we shall meet again next Shabbat. Thanks for your donations. Thanks for everything you send. Actually, we could not exist. Well, we could exist because it's all written. But actually, life becomes absolutely bearable with the love you give us, with the respect you have for us, with the joyful heart of cooperating with this. You're cooperating with yourself, because we are the heirs of this, and we'll inherit it soon. We'll have to wait how it'll be. But it is ours. It is written. It is ours. It's been ours from the very beginning. It's been ours before creation itself. Adam and Eve are ours. Everything else after that is ours. It's all ours. We're the fathers of it all. Because even if Adam and Eve are the first ones, they were created for us, by us. So then, the first are we. It is the beginning of the creation of God. The day that we understand that well, you'll understand the importance that we have. We shall meet again next Shabbat. Hallelujah to every one of you.